Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here. It is Thursday, and the Raptors lost a really bad home loss. They're one of their worst home losses ever in the history of the franchise last night to the New York Knicks. Really, really bad. Also, Raptors eliminated from the playoffs officially last night, and they have a 50-loss season for the first time in like over a decade. They have not lost 50 games in a long, long, long time. Now, the good news is we can't lose 60 because there's only 9 games left. But yeah, this is bad. It's bad. It's bad. Last night was very disappointing to me. We did not hang with them well, but there's real good reason why. I mean, the size difference was very, 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 very pronounced. Overall, their team is very big and physical compared to our team right now, the way it is with who's available. In fact, you see Abaji get hurt in the beginning of the game, and he's basically our strength, even though he's undersized. He's like him and Kelly are the two guys doing most of the work down low right now. And when he went out, it got really ugly after that. In fact, in some ways, Abaji would have been the guy to kind of help keep things a little more even. But when he's gone, well, it's just Kelly at that point. And meanwhile, Kelly's kind of playing every other position than center. You see him coming up the court, bringing the ball up the court like the point guard. You see him doing slasher score moves, shooting from the three like a two guard. Meanwhile, he's the only big available to us. And he's doing all the other skills of the other positions, which I'm not mad at. I mean, he's supposed to pass and do what he does. But yeah, it's just how it is. Mitchell Robinson returning to to play finally from December last night. And yeah, that doesn't help. I mean, any three of those bigs on the other side, Hartenstein, Precious, or Mitchell, are going to kill us because they have way more size, length, and height. If we had Precious on our team still against them, we would have had more of an equalizer. If Precious Achua had been lined up in a red jersey instead last night, that would have helped things a lot. It would have made things a lot more of an equalizer, Achua versus Hartenstein and Robinson. But alas, we made a trade, and Precious wears their jersey now. Ugh, so much to talk about in the game last night. Also, about the 905 victory during the day yesterday, and just the regular, normal Raptor Freak stuff we do on this channel. We got the score predictions. We got the Cosmic Car of the Day. Let's get into it. Let's see what y'all are saying. It's too bad. I'm disappointed. I'm wearing purple. I'm not even wearing anything that's Raptors today because in some ways that's symbolizing that our playoff season is absolutely over as of last night. But the good news is, let's go look at the projected to keep our pick, stuff like that. All right, right now as it stands, the Raptors have a to keep their to stay in their pre-lottery draft position right now is 74% going to be 6 or higher. 6 or higher. So it means we're going to be the 6. We're going to finish in 6th. There's a 76%, 70. Actually, that's 74%. 74% chance we're going to be finishing 6th or 5th worst. So that's good. The odds keep going towards it. We're now 3/4 chance that we're going to finish 6th worst. And that's great because that'll mean our chances on the other end to get a really good lottery ball are pretty good. In fact, that's like around almost 50% that we are for sure going to be in the top 6 in the draft. So that's good. This is what we're doing now. That is what we're trying to accomplish. So good job. Good job. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat, guys. All right, Chris is first, MSJ. And don't ever say that again because once again, it can always get worse. And Abaji last night was the symbol of it. That scared the shit out of me. I don't know if it scared the shit out of y'all when you saw Abaji hit the floor like that. It was just like, yeah, this season's fucked. This season is absolutely fucked. Jonte Porter, Koloko, all the bullshit that's happened this year. And Abaji hitting the ground like that. I mean, it looked so bad the way he hit the ground. It looked like he might have hurt his spinal column. And that is really not what you want to get injured. I was so happy when I saw him leaving the court on his own 2 feet, and it looked like a leg injury instead of a back injury when he was leaving. So they said it's a right hip contusion. So it's not a back injury. It's not a leg injury. It's his hip. It's his ass. It's the back. It's like around there. So yeah, he hit it really hard. There was nothing dirty about that. I was wondering if the Knicks player hit him out of the air, but he just got turned upside down and his momentum was all crazy. In some ways, he jumps up in wild ways. And maybe because he has such big shoulders, his balance is weird up in the air. I don't know. Either way, it wasn't the fault of the Knicks that he hit the floor hard. I was looking for that in the replay, but there was no dirtiness by the Knicks player that was nearby. It was purely him up in the air, twisting in the air, and he just fell wrong. In some ways, he couldn't get his arm underneath him to catch himself. And that was part of the problem. He hit it really hard, and it looked scary because at first it looked like he could not move. And that is a spinal column injury. And you do not want any of those kind of things. Those things change your life. And you don't want that. You don't want that. All right. So Chris is saying it has to be said that Dick is going to be a lethal shooter. It's just so pure. Yeah. Yeah, the shooting percentage for Grady Dick since he's become a regular rotation starter and also just regularly playing since January, he's in the top players, not just in rookies, and all the players in the NBA for his three-point shooting percentage right now. And that's really good. That's fantastic. That's portending to the future that he is going to be a top three-point shooter in this league in the years to come. And that's what we wanted. That's why we drafted Grady, because he had a very high three-point percentage in college, one of the highest in his college class. So it makes sense. You want to hope that the three-point excellence in those levels will translate up, and well, it has. It really has, and it really is like his the way he trained himself as a young person. No memory. If he has a bad thing happen on the court, he doesn't care. 2 seconds later, it's the next part. If the score is really bad and they're down by 30, who cares? He's a robot. He's automatic. He's going to take the shot, and if he shoots it correctly with fundamentals, it's going to go through. And I love that about Grady. That's the kind of shooter I wanted on this team for a couple of years now. That's the kind of shooter that I wanted Gary to be more like. It's just more automatic and more dependable. And you really see it in the mechanics. You see it in the mechanics. You see it in the ways that he does it. I'm with you on this. He is a pure shooter, Chris. He absolutely is. Chris is also saying JFL can play the game. He can shoot, finish, and get the line. He has a mind for the game, even rebounds. He was disciplined and let Kelly run it, but can be that late shot clock scoring guard. Yeah, I also saw him not running out and closing out on closeouts at times on three-point shots that absolutely killed us last night. I also saw his size being a detriment against NBA-sized players. And that's all I'll say about your comment right there. Kareem saying, alley-oops to Lex, alley-oops to Lex, alley-oops to Lex, you witty mofo. He's saying this because yesterday during the 905 game, I was on fire with Kareem Thomas-like dunks. That's right. Oh, Lex isn't just the person on the stream talking on the microphone. I can dunk just like Kareem. That's right. In fact, I could sing a song just like, if I could be like Kareem, I want to be like Kareem, If I could be like Kareem. Yeah, I took to the sky during the 905 game, and I threw it down hard with some crazy witty dunks in the chat. And I took the scores and put them in while we were doing it. So I don't need to add it now, Kareem, but thank you. There was some very funny stuff I said. I don't totally remember what I said. But yeah, the 905 game was awesome. If you watched that game right after my stream yesterday, good for you because you were entertained. You saw something awesome. The 905 won. The crowd was amazing. Those kids, those school day games are just fantastic energy. In fact, they carried the team with their energy to the win. They were so loud, and the future is so bright for Raptors young fans because the 905 is not just a farm system for players, coaches, announcers, referees, all the different positions. It's a farm system for our crowd and the young, budding young fans that go to the 905 games for school day games. They're future Raptor fans, and they cheer the team correctly with the right kind of energy. And I'm very, very, very feeling very promising about the future generation of Raptors fans and how they're going to come to the game correct with noise and cheering the team right. They're out there doing the defense chants like I've told people to do it. They're out there cheering the team, go Raptors, go. The whole game, very loud, very good energy. In fact, we found out yesterday during the broadcast that the Raptors 905, even though their record is one of the worst in the whole entire G League, is leading the G League in ticket sales. That they sold the most tickets in the G League this year out of all the teams in the G League, and we are a losing team. And that's a big accomplishment. In fact, on Saturday, I'm declaring it a Saturday Share the Love Club for the Raptors 905 home crowd because I want to share so much love for those great people that went to their games all season long and supported a team that was coached by Eric Curry that was garbage and still came there correct with the energy and the passion for the team. So Saturday Share the Love Club, Raptors 905 crowd, you're getting my love. And we're going to even do a wrap up of the season a little bit on that day because the last Raptors 905 game will be tomorrow for the season. So Share the Love Club, Raptors 905 crowd on Saturday, and tomorrow, a Friday freak out. I will be going off tomorrow. I have something that I have to say. And when I say it, you will, people are going to be listening to what I have to say tomorrow because I'm going to drop a big bomb tomorrow because I'm pissed. I am pissed off about something, and I'm going to go off on some people tomorrow. So tune in for the Friday freak out, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be good. Trust me. You're going to want to hear it. You're going to want to hear it. That's right. Thank you, Kareem, for recognizing my dunk excellence yesterday. That's right. That's right. David's here. All I know is JFL is an NBA player. That's for sure. No, and no. Y'all are wrong. All right, let's go look at him. Since y'all want me to put a spotlight on JFL, he is not one of my 3 stars of the game. Just so you know, he is not. All right, let's look at him. He's 5 for 9. That's not bad. I don't mind that. 1 for 4 from 3. That's okay. He made all 3 of his free throws. I like that too. 5 rebounds, 2 of them offensive. I can dig that. 3 assists and 3 turnovers. Minus 19, 14 points. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. In some ways, a guy his size cannot be just a baller scorer unless he is coming in, like I said, like a Cason Wallace or an Allen Iverson or a Stephon Marbury. You have to be a certain level of talent that is just overwhelmingly so good that you're in the NBA automatically. If you're trying to make it from the G League in that size and your skill set is very selfish, you will not make the league. I'm just going to tell you guys that. And if he does, and he does really good, that's great. More power to him. Prove me wrong, Javon. But I'm just going to say I'm still anti-JFL being on our team for the future. There's not a whole lot he could do right now that would make me change my mind, just so y'all know. It really doesn't have anything to do with what he's doing on the court at this point. It has to do with the nature of who he is and his role and what his skill set is. And that's what it is, y'all. Okay? Just so y'all know. But yeah, that's not a bad line. That's actually one of his better games. And I appreciate him for his contribution last night. But once again, these guys are not scoring enough. I don't give a shit if they're all taller than you. You guys need to get 20 each. They're scoring 145, and y'all are messing around the mid-teens. Fuck that shit, Javon. You were scoring almost 40 points on the G League. Why the fuck can't you get to 20 or maybe even closer to 30? You and Gary, I'll blame for this. Gary only got 18. You guys got to carry. I'm sorry. You guys are the scorers. And when the other team is scoring like crazy, Miles McBride breaking records, hitting crazy ass threes all over the place, y'all need to match it. At the beginning of the game, Gary tried to. In fact, he did a very valiant effort of trying to match the intensity, the physicality of the Knicks last night. And I applaud you, Gary, for the early stuff you did. The early stuff in the game was really, really good. But throughout the game, you kind of faded away and weren't as important later on, which is too bad. And Gary was a minus 32. So, yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. If y'all want to know who my 3 stars of the game are, let's go this way. All right, my first star of the game is Grady Dick. I'm very, very happy with Grady last night. He was the leader. He's the guy who was showing the initiative to try and carry us out of all those guys, the rookie, the guy who's been the least amount of NBA experience in a lot of ways than any of those guys. I mean, I guess the G League guys have less, but honestly, they've been around teams for a couple years. They've been in the G League for a couple years, Javon and Kobe and Muhammadu. And Grady's first year as a pro is this year, but he's carrying the Raptors at this point in the season offensively. 23 points for Grady, 10 of 18 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. That's fantastic. Only 1 rebound and minus 26. You know, Grady said after the game, he doesn't want to just score. He wants to do anything he can to help the Raptors win. And even if he had a good game last night, it's hollow because it doesn't mean nothing unless they win. So, yeah, there's a lot of really mature things that Grady said after the game. He has a really good head on his shoulders, and he's understanding the whole thing that's going on right now. He has the right perspective, and he's making the most of it. The thing that's most valuable about what's happening right now is Grady is getting time on the court against top-notch NBA players in situations where they're playing at a high level and he's seeing what it takes to compete in this league. And in some ways, Grady hanging with them and getting 23 points in a game against the Knicks last night shows that he belongs. That's what I'll say right there. So, yeah, Grady, really proud of you. The second star of the game for me, I'm going to the other side, y'all, is Precious. I'm going to give Precious stars for last night because I'm very, very proud of Precious last night on the other side. He was not happy with Toronto. He did not acknowledge his tribute to him. He was in the game zone watching his coach. And in the timeout, he did not acknowledge the crowd when they thanked him. And that's too bad. And in some ways, I don't know. There was an anger in Precious last night that is weird. I mean, I know he's playing for his hometown team now, and maybe he was disappointed that he got traded from Toronto. I really do feel like he was hurt by it a little bit. That's the energy I read from him because he took it out on us last night. In fact, you could say last night was a Precious Achiuwa revenge game because he came back and got a double-double. He's highly efficient. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, a plus 18, 8 of 13 shooting, 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Yeah, Precious had a monster exclamation dunk at the end of the game, and he kind of took over and controlled the whole last minute of the game just by scoring and doing whatever the fuck he wanted to out there. You go, Precious. I love you, Precious, even though you seem like you're sour towards us. But there was a lot of love shared between everybody after the game, between the former Knicks, the former Raptors, and the Knicks, and all that kind of good stuff. So it is what it is. It's a humiliating loss. It was not the kind of loss we wanted. Darko was very upset with the team last night, and he was not happy with the effort and the things that happened last night. I'm glad because in some ways, listen, this coach has a standard of excellence, and it doesn't matter if the team is really overmatched. They need to come out there and find a way to compete no matter what. Those are Darko's words himself. That's Darko's words himself. So, Precious, you're getting the second star of the game for me last night. The third star is going to go to Garrett Temple, the ultimate pro. He played a lot of minutes last night, and he produced. Once again, he's our he's our third leading scorer on the team last night, Garrett Temple. And it's crazy. 5 for 10 from the field, 15 points, 3 of 6 from 3, just like Grady. 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a minus 14 in 27 minutes. Garrett Temple getting an extended run and showing those old legs still work. Those old legs can get up and down the court. He's still a really good pro. And man, he's been so valuable in the last couple weeks, honestly. So yeah, those are my 3 stars of the game. Grady, Precious, and Garrett. Yeah, it's a little off, a little weird. It is what it is. Let's see. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Enjoy the L's for now. We won't have many next year. Let's go, Raptors. Yeah, why do we enjoy these, Cowboy? I don't. I don't, especially last night. It's sad to be swept by the Knicks. It's sad to have one of our biggest home losses in our history of our team. I think it was the biggest home loss. We've had 2 40-point losses at home in the last month. And that's disgusting. The first loss of this losing streak was against the Pelicans at home by 40 points. And that's been the losing streak since. We've lost 12 in a row. And, well, the last one is another 40-point loss at home. Those are bad. Those are very, very bad. And if you think about it, there's a lot of Raptors teams with pride that would never let that kind of stuff happen. Most of them with Kyle Lowry on them. And that's the thing. All right, I have to say this to be fair about this whole phenomena about breaking that record yesterday is that the scoring is up in the league. Now, there were really bad teams in the early Raptors history, but the scoring wasn't like this. In fact, it was very much the opposite. To be able to get a 40-point win over a team back then, well, it has to be something really crazy and special. And in a lot of ways, the old heads of the way they used to be, they would not allow teams to punk them like that to get those kind of things. When the new NBA with the threes and the very high octane scoring, 40-point losses are a lot more common than they used to be in the late 90s. So I would say this, if this era was back then, these losses wouldn't be so huge. It really is the steroids offense of the NBA today that allows for these kind of records to be broken, really, honestly. Let's see. All right, let's keep going. Chris is saying, JFL equals Alvarado. Lightning quick, can pick up players up full court and shed 5 seconds off the clock. Decent defense, but he just has that knack to score. He made a real smooth move in the paint to score. Yeah. I mean, guys, I like that y'all like him, but I'm not big on him. I just don't see what's the point of keeping him around. I really don't. Matt and Jack doing a lot of education during the game last night. Once again, I'm glad they're educating fans during the broadcast. And Jack talking about potential and players. He was kind of talking about Precious, and I didn't agree with what he was saying. I felt like it was kind of not totally smart what he was saying, talking about how, you wait for potential with a player and it never comes. It never comes. Well, honestly, this is the way I look at Precious. Precious, it's not about him not arriving to his potential. He's at his possible potential right now. And I would say it's extremely valuable. Like, this is the thing. He could have a baseline of what he's doing right now or what he did for the Raptors before. And a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. I thought that he was very solid. He's a very solid defender, a very solid rebounder. He's a very solid shot blocking threat. There's a lot of things he does solid. People just got upset because he was going outside the box and shooting threes and dribbling and trying to do drives to the basket, which I found that's where he grows into his potential. But people were anti him doing it. I think that Precious is absolutely a great player in this league. He's a rotation player for sure. He could probably be a starter on half the teams in this league also. So I don't get that whole talking about him not reaching potential. Well, how do we know what his potential is? We have no idea what his potential could be. And some guys are just late bloomers. It could very well be that I still think that next year Precious is going to have another leap to his game. And unfortunately, the Knicks will probably get to enjoy the spoils of it. So that was a weird, interesting discussion by Jack Armstrong about the potential of players and how long do you wait on them to get better? Malachi Flynn. That's what I would say right there. Malachi Flynn. Yeah. I still think JFL is a better comparison to Malachi Flynn. And I'll stand by that, guys. I will. Kareem saying JFL doesn't only stand for just for laughs. It also stands for Javon Free fucking Liberty. Yeah, no, that's true. Just for laughs, the Comedy Festival of Canada. It's such a historic, important place for comedians to make their careers. JFL. Yeah. Yeah, Kareem saying next meet and greet definitely has to be at Scotiabank 905 school day game. Those kids were absolutely electric, and I give them the stars of the game. Yeah, they were fantastic. I do too. I do too. I'll do the 905 stars in a second. But yeah, no, we were talking about this yesterday, Kareem and I, while we're watching the 905 game, and we're like, man, I want to go to the school day game. Do they allow just regular people to go, or is it only like giving tickets to the kids? Because I'd like to go down there. In fact, if they, like he said, they have the game at Scotiabank at least once a year, I wouldn't mind going out to Mississauga. I know a lot of y'all are out there, and I do need to go see Paramount Fine Food Center. But it'd be fun to go to the one in downtown Toronto at Scotiabank Arena when they do the 905 school day game at some point late in the fall. I want to go sit where Drake's seats are too. I want to go sit right next to court. I don't care. I'll splurge. I'll spend the big money and go sit courtside at a 905 game at the Scotiabank Arena. That would be fun. And it's definitely with all these kids too. I might get up, Kareem, if we go do the game and do this and stand up and be like Mickey and Fantasia and turn around and start like composing with the young fans and like directing them. It could very well turn into that, but I'm all about this, y'all. And this could be a future link up with like we did for the coaches open house. We're going to try and go to the 905 school day game in the middle of the day and go down there and hang out with all the kids and watch a 905 game, get loud and rowdy, because that energy was amazing. And that's why I want to do a Share the Love Club for them on Saturday, because it was consistent throughout the season. When the kids were at the game, they were awesome. And honestly, the crowds for 905 are much better than most of the G League teams. And we should be proud of that we have our community supporting our G League team, even if they're not good. I love that. I love that in some ways. The 905 is very successful, even if their win-loss is not successful. They're definitely very successful out there. We're going to do this, Kareem. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Let's see. David's dapping. Nako's saying, what a great Grady Dick highlight reel that was. Yeah. Yeah, he had a lot of different interesting stuff in the game. He's scoring all kinds of different ways. I wish he had fleshed out his stats a bit more. He really was more shooting and taking shots himself. I would have liked to see more rebounds and assists in his stat line. Also, yeah. Trevor J's here. Good morning, Raptors family. Grady was the best player on the floor last night. He really turned it out to be a problem for a lot of players. He's the best player for the Raptors, but don't get it twisted. There were Knicks players that were on that court that were better than anybody on the court. A lot of people are saying it's Jalen Brunson. He's annoying. I think it was more Miles McBride. Obviously, kickstarted them with a crazy, incredibly good first quarter. They scored 45 points in the first. Then a lot of it was from McBride, who had 6 3-pointers in the first quarter. That was absolutely insane. So, yeah, DiVincenzo was annoying once again with his threes. Of course, he killed us in a game earlier this season, just going off. Bogdanovich actually came out and hit a bunch of threes also. The three-pointers were really key for the Knicks last night. 22 threes out of 44, 50% from three. We couldn't keep up. We only made 11 threes, so we made half the threes they did. Yeah, and then the rebounds, really a big discrepancy there also. 42 rebounds for the Knicks, 28 for us. And there were going to be problems with this. We knew there were going to be. And one of the most important keys to try and win for the Raptors was to keep them off second chance and offensive rebounds. But we failed at that. And we can't really do a whole lot when Mitchell Robinson has these arms. They're so long, they go over our guys' shoulders. As Kenyon said, Basketball Rewind, it is Vision 6.5 for us right now. And Vision 6.5 don't do well against regular size lineups like the Knicks lineup last night. The other thing about the Knicks is they're getting ready for the playoffs and war, and they have a certain edge to them of physicality. Now they're friendly to us right now. There's a lot of bonds across lines with our team and their team because of the trade this year. So in some ways, I could see them going against other teams in nastier, dirtier ways. And they were kind of like, in some ways, they are thinking about things like their brother RJ and his feelings about, things that have happened recently. There's a lot of nice reaching out from the Knicks players towards RJ after the game to show sympathy for him in the loss of his brother. So, it's still family. It's a weird thing because in some ways, I bet you the Knicks have a lot more venom and anger and physicality for other teams than us. And in some ways, maybe it's not that they went lightly on us because they damn for sure didn't. Tibbs was very much barking on them and harping on them to not let up and kick our ass to the ground. And they did. They did. I didn't remember how vocal Tibbs is during the game. You could hear him yelling the whole game, and he's very much on them the whole game. You can tell he's a very tough, ornery coach. And he's got them running really well. When I was watching them last night, Knicks fan, if you're watching me right now, I think y'all will get to the conference finals. And once again, I want y'all to beat the Celtics or the Sixers and put them the hell out. I really, really do want y'all to do that. If y'all play Magic, we just saw them 2 games in a row recently. I think y'all will beat the Magic. And right now, y'all are in the first round against them. You guys look really good. You got the right elements to make a deep playoff run, and that's the size that y'all beat us up with last night. And your point guard is smart. He's really good leader on the court, and he's going to be a big attribute for you guys in the playoffs also, for sure. But yeah, you need OG to get back healthy to be fully strong. And yeah, y'all will be nasty. Y'all will be nasty. I don't know if you'll go all the way to the finals, but I could see y'all getting all the way to the conference finals. We'll have to see. If it's y'all against the Celtics in the conference finals, beat their ass is what I'm going to say to you, Knicks Nation. Beat their ass for all the rest of us in this league. Seriously. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it to it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's do the classic card of the day. This is the Cosmic Classic Card of the Day. And whoever answers the question, writes in the full name of who's on this card first, gets 100 points added to their Raptor Freak trivia score. So, all right, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the chat, and we're going to get the Cosmic card out and see what it is. All right, let me see who it is. Oh, wow. This is going to be hard. I don't even remember this guy. We'll see if anybody gets this. If this is one that's impossible, we'll draw a second card. But I don't know if y'all are going to get this because I didn't know who this was as soon as I looked at it. So we'll see. All right, guys, here's the classic Cosmic card. This is advanced. In fact, I'll say this is 200 if you get this. This is not a 100 card. This is a hard one. Who the hell is that? It says Rockets next to him. Who the hell is that? Yeah, you think Smooth will get it, but you don't know. Like, seriously, I don't know who that is. Let's see who they know. He knows. All right, let's see who it is. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, he's like C3PO, and I'm an Ewok. Oh. Whoa, whoa. It's just like Return of the Jedi. Whoa, that is the name right there, baby. John Turner. I don't even know if he made the league. This is a rookie draft card. And I don't remember this man playing hardly ever at all. Wow, Smooth Brown Man. How did you know that? Oh, because you're Rockets. That's right. You're a Rockets fan. So you would know because it's a Rockets pick. Woo! Look at that. That's right. I hope the Blue Jays get some home runs like Smooth Brown Man does in the classic car of the day. Wow. That's right. I forgot he's Rocket Stan. Of course, he's going to get a Rockets draft pick. Bravo. Bravo, my sir. Bravo. 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 Yes. That is super impressive. You know what? The Raptors may not be winning, but Raptor Freak Family is. That's right. Raptor Freak Family is winning. Wow. I am super impressed with that. Super impressed. Chris is saying, also, what the fuck was Barnes wearing? All right, you want to talk about Scotty Barnes and his psychedelic purple bell-bottom pants? Yeah, and later in the game, Jack Armstrong was talking about Scotty's riz. Well, he's saying he was dripping. It's a little cringe. And Jack's like, is that the right term, Matt? Dripping? Is he dripping? I mean, I'm an old head that's not cool, Jack, and I can see how uncool you are above my old head uncoolness. And the youngsters, I could just see that they're rolling on the floor laughing, listening to you talking about Riz and drip and stuff like that. Yeah, Scotty's got his own style, man. In some ways, look, we got to think about this. Scotty came in this league, and who were his vets right away? Precious, OG, Gary. These guys have a style to them. In some ways, Scotty had to show up and kind of have his own kind of style to it. And he has had a very defined, crazy ass style. We've seen Scotty show up and it looked like he was in all leather and some crazy thing. We've seen him show up in some really interesting outfits. He's his own dude. He's doing his own thing. In some ways, there's a Parliament Funkadelic to Scotty and his style, kind of like Precious, kind of like Gary. These guys go Parliament Funkadelic in some of their styles. That's an influence. And, George Clinton is a great influence of fashion and ideology and funk. And in some ways, what Scotty was wearing last night was funky as hell. And I ain't got no problem with it. People going to have a problem. You want to make fun of our franchise player for wearing purple bell bottoms? No, I'm not going to make fun of him for that. I'm not going to make fun of him for that. That's his style choice and style icon and stuff. Whatever. Let him do what he's going to do. All those guys that were hurt last night, some of them were wearing pretty interesting outfits. Emmanuel's was very interesting himself. Of course, RJ going with a plain hoodie kind of thing. And then, Yak's got his style. We know what Yak's style is. Yeah, it's t-shirt and just hanging out. But no, I can't hate on Scotty's purple bell bottoms. I think that they're cool. We know people are going to be posting stupid shit on social media about it. But to me, I stand with my guy. I stand with my franchise face. And whatever style ideas he has for himself, he has the money. If he's not taking the clothes back like he did that shirt that one time, whatever he's doing. Let him do his thing. Parliament Funkadelic. That's right. P-Funk style. Go on with yourself, Scotty. I support your purple bell bottoms. There ain't nothing wrong with them. That's right. Jimmy's saying Barnes has a funny taste in fashion for sure. This is true. He really does. And I don't hate it. I think that it's cool. I think that Barnes is just making his own kind of thing to who he is. In some ways, Barnes is just going to be Barnes. And we got to let Barnes be Barnes. And honestly, the things that matter to me are this. That man jumped up off the bench at a certain point in the second half, yelling coaching way towards them about defensive assignments. Did you see that point in the game last night where Scotty jumped out of the seat on the bench and started pointing and yelling, telling his guys to get to their assignments? See, that is, to me, is so important that he's involved, that he really cares, that he's like to the point where he's hurt. He's not playing, but he cares about the Raptors doing certain things the right way and getting better in time when he comes better, that he's going to jump up and say something. And I love that. He's hands-on. He's involved, even though he's not playing right now. And that shows a dedication and a care about the Raptors that's important, that he's bought in to our team and the ideas of what we're doing and stuff. So I really like that a lot. Trevor's saying when Grady put on some more muscle, watch out. Yeah, I think that in some ways the muscle's not totally dependent on watching out for him. In some ways, look, I would like him to bulk up. I said recently, if Grady's shoulders and arms could start looking more like Josh Giddey's in the next year or so, that would be good. That would be good because that may be just enough that he needs. We saw Josh Giddey playing defensive center for the Thunder the other day when we played them. Well, in some ways, this is the crazy thing. Grady should be playing 2, and right now he's slotted at 4 for us. He's the second biggest guy on our team after Kelly, and that's a disservice to him as far as defense and stuff. But we're throwing him the fire early in his career and showing, like, look, you may be undersized against other teams, and how are you going to cope? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to make the best things happen despite the disadvantage? And that's really fruitful and knowledge stuff for him to learn this early in his career. So he may be getting thrown in the deep end, but he's swimming. Let's just put it that way. He's swimming. And, the way he plays, he's a finesse player. In some ways, he's not really a physical player. Now, he can go into contact and finish around it, but he's kind of like he bounces off of it and does a really harder angle around it. Instead of meeting it and pushing into it and pushing his will through it, no, it's more like I'll run into you in your wall and I'll bounce off of you and I'll take the shot while I'm falling over. That's in some ways you don't need a whole bunch of size for that if you're quick and finesse kind of scorer. Now he will get bigger, and that will help in all kinds of ways around things, especially for fighting for rebounds and also defensive stuff. So I'm all about it, Trevor. I love what you're saying. Chris is saying, I bet Grady gets an inch taller and maybe 7 pounds heavier. The Raptors are going to have him with some Serbian weight trainer that eats 10 chickens a day. All right, you want to dunk, Chris? You're going to get that. You want to dunk? You're going to get a dunk for that one. That's hilarious. No, I joke about Chet Holmgren needs to go to the Mandarin and he needs to sit there and just eat for the whole day. Yeah. In some ways, we need Grady to do this too. And definitely weight training. And yeah, I agree with you about growing an inch taller at least. He's 6'8" right now. He's only 20. He can grow another 2 inches still and be like around Duncan Robinson's 6'10" height at that kind of shooting prowess. Yeah, that's very attractive to have on your team. That's very, very attractive. Yeah, 10 chickens a day, Grady. You have to have them. Coach Darko has said that this is part of your off-season program. 10 chickens. G saying, hope Oshai isn't too injured. He screamed in agony. That was messed up. That's why I was so upset about it. We don't want to see this. The injury to insult of the season is not fun. We don't want to see anybody get hurt. And yeah, that was scary as hell. And I hated it. I was just like, what the fuck is going on this season? Seriously, just 2 days ago, our backup center got involved in a gambling scandal. And now we got this guy who falling on the ground and looking like he may be hurt really badly. No, that was awful, G. That was a moment where my heart sank, and I'm sure a lot of other true Raptors fans did also. Yeah, James is saying, all right, he wants to take a look at Kel Ware today. All right, you got it. You got in there first, James. You got the spot first. You're getting the scout of the day. All right, James, this is a request by James for me to scout Kel Ware. So let me go look him up on the Wikipedia first. That'll be the first. I want to see if he is related to Coco in any kind of way. That'd be cool. Kel Ware is an American college basketball player for the Indiana Hoosiers of the Big Ten Conference. He previously played for Oregon, so he has a connection to Chris Boucher because of the Oregon Ducks. He is a 7-foot center, 242 pounds. He is a straight-up 5-star recruit in every aspect. All right, let's go watch him. Let's go see what he looks like. This is a big man. Big man. Kel. It's like a Superman name. Kel. He's from the planet Krypton. Yeah, I like it. Is he going to be like Zoid, General Zod, or whatever? He's going to have a little goatee and like really weird like eyebrows. Kel Ware. All right, I'm sorry. I shouldn't make fun of the guy's name, although it is very much a Krypton name. You know it is. Kal-El and Jor-El and all that shit. Kel. Yeah, he's got a Krypton name. He's got a Superman name. That's a good sign. I mean, really, come on. All right, let's see. That's too long. I don't want to watch that highlight. We'll watch this three-minute highlight at Minnesota from March the 6th. So earlier this month, this is him against Minnesota. He is the big man. All right, he backs in. He turns around. He spun to the weak side and took a shot over him. That's a very nice move. That's not a normal move. That's not a natural move. Let's see him block a shot. Okay, he's patient. He waited for the guy to jump, and then he absolutely just blocked him. The guy had no chance. Really good patience and waiting with the timing to block the shot on that one. So I like his shot blocking. Ooh, he's a shit disturber. He just jumped in on that inbounds, and then he runs the court real quick, and he gets a dunk, a one-handed dunk. This guy does look really good. I like him, James. I like that he messed up the pass, and then he had the wherewithal to get down the court quickly. You know, when you're 7 foot, you're running down the court and finishing the break right on a steal that you kind of caused. Oh wait, he just threw an alley oop to one of his teammates who doesn't have any athleticism, so he didn't dunk it. That could have easily been an alley oop in the NBA if you have better teammates. There's another one, same thing. These guys just can't jump on his team with him. Indiana. No, I like this. He's showing passing. He's showing some good defensive acumen. Look at the timing there. He waits for the guy to go by and he gets a dunk. Very, very smart player, it looks like. And smart with size is always good. Let's just put it that way. All right, he's near the top of the free throw line. He goes into the lane. He kind of does a little shimmy move, and then he does a nice little move off the glass into the basket. Easy shot. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I may not have to see much more. I would put this guy on my list. I might have to put this guy on my top 5 for the college draft. James, you brought me a winner. You have brought me a winner for sure. This guy is for real. This guy is for real. I can see it. And I love the height. It looks like his wingspan is really good, obviously, for a 7-footer. He's not a Kevin Willis wingspan, which is good. But yeah, he's killing Minnesota in this. And it doesn't look like they have any answer for him. It doesn't look like he do anything. He even kind of looks like Wemby a little bit in the face. He's got full sleeves of tattoos, too. So, yeah, I'm going to give my seal of approval on him. Like, look at this. He's giving second effort on defense. He does the block, and then the ball's going out of bounds, and he saves it before it goes out of bounds. That is awesome. That is awesome. This may be the best prospect somebody's brought to me blind so far in this draft season right now. I really like him a lot. Good job, James. There it is. He's getting a pass from long down court, and he finishes it easy. Yeah, I like this kid a lot. I think that and you know what the great thing about him is? He's not as skinny as most tall guys. I mean, he is skinny, don't get me wrong, and he is going to have to get more weight, but he has some muscle to him already in university, and that's absolutely great. Oh, look at that. He has a little move where he comes around in the lane, and he does get contact, and he goes up and over him. And yeah, he has a really good pass too. He's passing into the post to his teammates. That's crazy. That's crazy. This guy's good. I like what you brought me, James. I like what you brought me a lot. You know what? I'm going to give you a 3-pointer for a very astute scout from me today. I really like it, James. Honestly. Wow. All right. Have I given James a dunk? I need to put him on the list. Yeah, there he is. He's at the bottom. You're getting 4. You got a Scotty Barnes 4, my guy. Good stuff, James. I love that guy. He's strong already. He's got great passing, and he's got patience. And, oh, man, good one. I'm glad you brought it, man. I'm glad you brought it. He's better than Edey starting center potential. Maybe. I mean, I won't dispute that. I think that there may be similarities they may be close. I want to see where Zach is by the end of this tournament. In some ways, he's doing crazy shit already for Purdue. And, yeah, but I see they're very equal in some ways. And, of course, I'm going to go with the Canadian bonus if I have to pick between the two of them. But we'll have to see how everything shakes out. He's definitely somebody who's going to be on my radar now. Kal-El Ware. I'm definitely going to be putting him on my lists. Nako saying Oshai is our third best defender. Really hope he's okay. I would argue that he may be our second best defender right now. Kelly's probably number 1, and Oshai's number 2 out of the guys that are out there playing for us currently. Yeah, I would argue he's the second best. Hey, Bryce is here. Good morning, Raptor Freaks and Lex. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson, Kentucky man. He's a Kentucky man and a Raptors stan, and we love Bryce Lawson. Yes. All right, let's see. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Hope Oshai injury is not too serious. Good to see the welcome back OG and Precious received last night from the fans in the arena. Did you go to the game, Cool Cat, and see it in person? You probably didn't. You said you weren't going to go anymore. Although the prices have gone down recently, they're a little bit more affordable. Yeah, I hope it's not that bad too. Now, we have an advantage that the next game isn't until Sunday. So they get today off, tomorrow off, Saturday off. So maybe he could heal and be ready to play the Sixers on Sunday. The last game against the Sixers and Nick Nurse on Sunday here at Scotiabank Arena for the season. Yeah, good to see OG back. In fact, OG received his tribute very well. He was very emotional. You could tell. OG tearing up a bit about things. And that is amazing to me because we know OG is such an aloof enigma. Somebody is somewhat of a mystery. Somebody who shies away from the media, somebody who didn't get an open gym episode till the very end, right before he was probably going to leave. And they're like, OG, we got to do an open gym episode for you. You just need one. 7 years here, bro. You need one. Well, they showed, and this is the great thing. Normally with these return tribute videos, they don't show them on the broadcast. They did not show the Fred or the Pascal one fully while it was happening, but they did with OG last night. I really appreciate y'all doing that, TSN. Sometimes when y'all come in and you just say, oh, they did this in the commercial break, and you just show a picture of Pascal waving, and that's it. That doesn't mean enough for the people at home that watch the game. In the arena, we'll get that full feeling. But when you show the whole thing and you actually get to see OG reacting and you see the video on TV also, that's a good thing, TSN. So I get it. You got to have time for the stupid ass commercials for betting and bullshit like that. But if you could include tribute videos for former Raptors in the future on your broadcast, I would say 2 thumbs up, because that meant a lot to be able to see the OG tribute at home during the broadcast. And he was very touched. Of course, they added highlights into his little highlight reel of him saying crazy, stupid shit like he's scared of cottage cheese. And yeah, people were laughing. And in some ways, I could tell he's saying things to his Knicks teammates like, oh, that I was just joking around when I said this. I didn't really mean this when I said that. Oh, I was doing that to be funny. I'm not that dumb, guys. No. I'm sure that's what he was saying to his teammates, because you see him like kind of explaining to them when they're showing the really goofy shit on his highlight reel. OG, we love you so much. And in some ways, it was a funny little thing that Chris put on his Instagram after the game last night. There's a picture of Chris, OG, and Scotty leaving in the tunnel and all in street clothes because none of them played. And Chris labeled this way. There's OG, Chris, and then Scott. And he wrote it this way, that they're Mario, Luigi, and Toad. And OG's Mario, Chris is Luigi, and Scotty is Toad. And I mean, I get that. In some ways, I don't know. I don't think that's insulting. I think that if you know Super Mario Brothers world, this kind of makes sense, what Chris said in his caption. But some people are probably like, look at it and stuff like that. Look, Toad's the strongest character on Super Mario Brothers. He can pull, in Super Mario Brothers 2, you can pull those turnips out of the ground like, you know what I'm talking about if you played Nintendo Super Mario Brothers 2, the one with the crazy doors and the weird quicksand and shit. But look, I wouldn't be insulted by that, Scott. You're the strong guy, is what he's saying. And of course, he's the skinny, long guy, Chris Boucher, Luigi. Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, that. But yeah, man. Precious was not vibing with the Raptors crowd, and he's New York at this point, man. I love you, Precious. I'm still not going to be mad at you because you came back fierce. And honestly, he had an anger towards him for some reason. I don't know why. In some ways, maybe he didn't want to go, but I'm sure he's glad to be back in New York for sure. Trevor saying, may your heart be blessed and your day full of happiness and joy. Thank you, Trevor J, for your words of wisdom. May your heart be blessed and your day full of happiness and joy. Yeah, things are tumultuous and scary in all kinds of areas of the world, and also with the Raptors and what's happening with them. We just got to keep going forward, do our best, and hope for brighter horizons and better things in the future. This year has been really crazy bad. It's insane, the stuff that's been happening. So we just got to pick our heads up and keep doing our best. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there. As Matt and Jack said last night, we got to trust in our front office. We have one of the best front offices in the league. They're proven to be excellent. And we're going to be all right, partly because we have such a good front office. And people need to realize that. They really do. James is saying JFL can play as backup guard. He's pretty cheap as well. Out of all our G League players, he can score. I would say this. I am much bigger on Kobe Simmons than JFL. I like him a lot. I'm much bigger on Jamias Ramsey. If this is this year's Malachi versus Jeff Doughton, I'm with those other two guys and not with JFL. I may be like not agreeing with you guys this summer on certain things. If there's going to be camp battles next year in the training camp to make the team, I'm going to be putting my weight behind Kobe Simmons. If he's there, if he is involved in the Raptors training camp, I want him to possibly be that backup guard y'all are describing JFL to be. I just feel like Kobe is a more well-rounded player. He has two sides to his game. He's an extremely good defensive player. Now, last night, Kobe didn't do much on offense. He was a distributor, actually. He got a lot of assists. He had like 6 assists, but he only scored 2 points himself. Uh, Kobe was anticipating things on the defensive end and getting steals. He had 3 steals also. Now he didn't shoot that well. He was 1 for 6 and 0 for 3 from 3. But this is the thing. Kobe Simmons is an excellent scorer, just like JFL. But you get more in the package. You get a guy who's all kinds of energy all over the place, and you see how quick he is. There's one point where he, in a game recently, where he made a quick first step, and he was by his defender and at the basket and scoring real easy. I don't know. We're going to have different sides on this. In some ways, it's different flavors of ice cream. But to me, I see more promise and things in Kobe Simmons being on the Raptors than JFL, honestly. Jamias Ramsey is my first pick out of the 3 of those guys, but second would be Kobe. Second would be Kobe. As far as that's me, that's my way of looking at basketball and what I value. I think Kobe Simmons is awesome. Seriously, he is so quick and he is so all over the place, and he has a very good acumen that anticipates things, and that's important in this league. James is saying the Knicks are playing really good even without their 2 best players, OG and Randall. Yeah, they've had their ups and downs, but they've won a lot recently. When OG first got hurt, they struggled a lot and they had a hard time, but they've done better recently, where they've now won 7 out of their last 8. Yeah, I'm not going to hate on the Knicks. In some ways, the Knicks nation's going to be annoying, really annoying during the postseason, but in some ways, it's the lesser 2 evils. Let the Knicks nation have success and kick some ass if it's at the detriment of the Celtics or Sixers nation. Oh, yeah, I'm with that. In fact, I'll probably rank the Eastern Conference playoff teams in the order that I like them and who I'd rather see get far. And Pacers are number 1 on that list. I would love to see the Pacers absolutely go all the way to the finals and be the Eastern team in the finals this year. That if that is possible in any kind of way, I want to see it happen and come to fruition. I really do. But the Knicks may be high on the list after them. They may be like the 2nd or 3rd team in the East I'd like to see get there. So, ooh, man, it's tough. It's tough to not – I don't really want to root for any of the East teams usually. I'm definitely not rooting for Cleveland. I'm definitely not rooting for Boston or Philly. I'm not rooting for Orlando. I'm not rooting for Milwaukee. So who does that leave? Well, maybe I'll root a little bit for Miami. No, I don't want to fucking root for Miami. Fuck them. Nah, I'll probably root for Indiana and New York the most just because of our former Raptors. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how things go. Let's see. James is also saying they should add DeMar in the offseason. He's a free agent. Well, I would say this. It's kind of like with Wiggins. He's not necessary or needed because he's kind of duplicitous with RJ. And I don't want anybody stepping on Barrett's toes as far as what he does for us in his tool bag. And I feel like DeMar and RJ have a lot of similarities, and they habitat the same habitats on the court with what they like to do offensively. So in some ways, I don't like this because it makes things murky, and it may also make things kind of like they were the last 2 years with so many guys around the same position and it not making sense who's doing what, and the spacing's weird. In some ways, we've got a group right now that fits really well, and the people we add have to still make sense to fitting to the guys who are existing here already, and that's barbecue. That's Barrett, Barnes, and Quickly. That's why I don't like getting a certain point guards. That's why I don't like getting certain 2s or 3s that may step on Barrett's toes. And I don't want people to be stepping on, different other people's toes. I want them to make sense because they add something different to what we don't have right now. And it helps us more fleshed out in a more complete team. That's what I want. And I don't think DeMar would do that at this point. I love DeMar. And if DeMar came back and played for the Raptors, I'd be all about it. I'd love it. But I don't think the cards are in it. And DeMar's publicly said he only comes back to Toronto if Kyle's here too. He does not want to come back and play for us unless Kyle is here also. He said that publicly. So I don't see it. I don't see it. I think DeMar will go somewhere else, and hopefully he'll have more success than he's had in Chicago because I do really root for him. Chris is saying, in my opinion, Mo G and McDaniels, ugh. Simmons, nothing much there. That's my opinion of them, ugh. And Ware is a better option if we get the 6th pick. Yeah, I don't mind Ware. Ware looks real good. My first impression of him is very good. Very, very, very good. All right, we're going to have different flavors of ice cream we like. We can all have different opinions. I think I can get behind like Mo G, just not, in some ways he needs to add weight and strength and size, obviously. In some ways he needs to rein it in and just be a little bit more disciplined as a player. He'll figure it out. If he's going to be in this league, he's got to do the work this summer, and he's got to work really hard and improve and make some leaps. If he's in our training camp at the beginning of the season, I won't be upset, but he's a project, and he definitely needs to be more refined and more like playing the game the right way. Is what I'll say. I feel like Eric Curry in the 905 didn't help him as much as they could have this year in reining him in and making him more like fundamentally playing right. He has a lot of bad habits, and they probably they were existing very well on the 905 level because in some ways he wasn't getting help to get out of them. So, yeah, McDaniels is annoying. In some ways, I would say the things that Jack was saying about potential are for McDaniels. And McDaniels is this kind of guy that has a lot of potential, but it's just not happening or occurring on the court the way it should. I see his brother doing things for Minnesota, and I'm like, I see what could be possible. And I wonder with Jalen, I don't know what's going to happen with Jalen McDaniels. In some ways, he may be a one and done this year because it's just we discovered him, we tried him around us, and it just didn't work. I don't know. In some ways, I don't care if Jalen McDaniels is on the Raptors next year for sure. Yeah, I already talked about Kobe. I'll my opinion on him is what my opinion is. It is what it is. G saying Nurse lost his mind after the no call, which the refs admitted should have been a call, and Oubre cursed the entire bloodline. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I heard about what happened in the Sixers game last night. I'm not upset about it. Good job. I love it. If they screwed over Nick Nurse, good. I'm glad. And whatever. I don't care. There were a lot of good things happening with the refs last night, whether it's that. And then also Mitchell Irvin throwing Draymond Green out of the beginning of the game. It's almost like we went on this rant yesterday about Draymond Green. And well, the NBA may have heard me because they kind of came down on him in the way they should have been coming down on him for years already and not letting him just cuss at the refs over and over again. Yeah, they had enough. They threw him out. Mitchell Irvin saying his diatribe went on too long. He'd already gotten the first technical, so he got the second technical. And when the second technical comes down, you got to leave. That's the rules. So, yeah, don't golden boy Draymond Green, give him special treatment anymore. Thank you, Joe Dumars. And thank you, Mitchell Irvin, the Drake lover. We love you. You're a great ref. We love you for having the balls to say, fuck you. I don't care if you're doing announcing for the NBA. You're out of here, guy. You're out of here, Draymond Green. So good job by the refs. Even if they got it wrong against the Sixers, good. Screw them over. Make them lose on purpose. And Sixers fans are all bent out of shape and upset. Good, good. Yeah, Kelly Oubre did get fouled. Who cares? You lost. You got ran. It was crooked against you. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. It happens to NBA teams all the time. Yeah, Nick Nurse has had it happen to him with the Raptors many times. So he should know. And if he went all ballistic and went crazy like he does sometimes, yeah, and Kelly Oubre matched his energy apparently. So he said, I saw my coach wanting to kill somebody. I wanted to go kill somebody with him, is what he said. It's crazy, man. Yeah, Nick Nurse lost his mind. Well, he lost his center first. Ooh, woo, woo. Randolph Phillips is here. Good morning, beloved Raptor freaks and most informative gang. Blessings to you and everyone attached to your bloodline. Yeah, you guys are using this word bloodline all of a sudden. What is this, Roman Reigns shit? What's going on here? In life, we must learn to take the good and the bad. Out of the bad come the good. Yeah, I mean, there's a cycle of life. There's death. And then through death, life springs forth again, a new life. Yeah, it's a weird thing. In some ways, people get upset about the idea of death and what death is, but it's just a natural thing. In some ways, it's not something to be afraid of. It's just something that happens. There's different states of things in this world. And well, sometimes if things are just not going well, that's the fertile ground to grow something new. And that's what I'm going to say, that kind of thing right there. And I appreciate you, Randolph, and I agree. In some ways, it's like Jack said last night. It's always darkest before the dawn. And in some ways, he said that a couple times in the last couple of years. Maybe it was in Tampa he said it once. But yeah, it can be always darkest before the dawn. And I feel like things are going to dawn next year, hopefully, in very positive, good luck ways for the Raptors next year. We'll have to see. Cool Cat saying, Lex, that's what happens when a team blows up to reset everything. Yeah. Yeah, I understand what's going on. It's just that, this is natural for things that happen when you make a lot of trades. But it's not even just the trades. It's like the broadcast said last night. If we made the trades, we might be fine and playing at a high level and winning a lot. It's the injuries. Because in some ways, we were figuring things out really, really well. This is a weird period of the season because like they were saying in the broadcast last night, this period of the season used to be like a dead time where teams in some ways weren't competing completely because they had their future set up already for the postseason. That, there's no real change in the standings. They don't have to worry. Maybe they sit guys for injury or rest to get ready for the playoffs. And some games are gainable against teams that won a lot this year because in some ways they don't care at the end of the season. Well, that's not the case anymore. The play-in tournament has changed this. All the teams are playing for something for the most part. And games that were easy to get near the end of the season just don't exist anymore. And that's what's part of the problem right now. The teams that are really out of it, like us, we have nothing to play for. There's a lot of teams that really do have a lot to play for still. And that's why it's going to be really hard for us to win going out, because a lot of these teams are fighting for position for the playoffs right now, whether it's to stay in the play-in, whether it's being in the play-in, whether it's to get out of the play-in, whether it's to keep home court advantage in the first round. There's all kinds of different things that all 30 of the teams are playing for at this point. There's very few teams that are like us that are playing for nothing and kind of are in some ways wanting to lose. So that's a big problem with this right now. It's like we're not going to collect cheap wins at the end of the season because a big top team is not trying to do something because they're resting their players to get ready for the playoffs. Maybe right at the end of the season there will be a little bit of this, but for the most part, this kind of phenomenon is dead because of the play-in tournament. The play-in games have done a really good job of making the season more competitive right up till the end. I'm not complaining about this. I like this better than the old way. It's just that we're in a position right now where it's going to show really bad because we're probably going to lose a lot because of this. And that is something that needs to be said about this right there. Yeah. Chris is saying music. All right. You want me to do a music question? All right. Let's see. What lake did Edmund Fitzgerald sink as told in Gordon Lightfoot? All right. The Edmund Fitzgerald. Yeah. Man, I want to say that it's like it's you know what? I'm not really good at Canadian music. I know that's awful because I grew up in the States and a lot of the Canadian music wasn't on the radio down there. I know Gordon Lightfoot is big down there too, but he's a little bit before my time and I wasn't very much into easy listening. I mean, I'm going to guess, and I'm not going to get this right because this is not a fact that I've studied or cared about. I'm not a big fan of his. Let's see. What is the Chippewa name for the lake? Okay, well, that may give me the help right there. All right, you're going to keep asking me music questions every show? All right, we can do that. What is the Chippewa name for the lake? Oh, my gosh. All right, well, since you kind of said that, I'm going to say, all right, Lake Superior is the lake. And I don't know the Chippewa name of the lake. I want to say like Turtle Lake or something like that. I don't know. You know what? You've been asking me these questions, but you don't ever write the answer in. Like yesterday, I knew I got it right, but you didn't actually confirm that I got it right. So you need to answer me if I'm going to answer your question and tell me the answer. So now I've answered the question. I'm going to say Lake Superior. I know that's probably wrong. And I'm not going to answer the other part. I'll say Turtle Lake just as my other answer on that. Tell me the right answers and tell me how wrong I am. And I'll do the hip hop legends tomorrow. Definitely do better in that subject than this one today, honestly. Trevor's saying McDaniels had the most turnovers in the game last night. The ball is like hot cake in his hands. Laugh out loud. Can't hold on to it. Yeah, let me go look at that. You guys want me to do a little bit more box score treasure hunting, see what we're doing? All right, Kelly Olynyk started 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 13 points, a minus 20 in 27 minutes. I like the stat stuffing by Kelly. Kelly, once again, getting a lot of assists. That's 19 plus 8, 27 assists in the last 3 games. Yeah, he's the center. I love it. Kelly, you're doing awesome. You may not be exactly right. You may have a travel here or there. You may be kind of like goofy. But, man, you are Kelly, and we love you, and you're doing awesome. And whatever you do, you do. Gary Trent Jr., 6 of 11, not bad. He wasn't horrible. It's just, in some ways, once again, I'll say this. He's supposed to be the number one guy right now. He needs to step up and lead the team. And in some ways, he should have been getting closer to 30. He needed to try and match them. He did a good job early. I could see him really trying. He's coming at them with physicality. He's doing smart things. There was one play where Gary did a pump fake, and DiVincenzo jumped over his head. And that could have been really bad. That was scary because that was right after Abaji. And I'm like, okay, you're going to try and take his head off Dante DiVincenzo by flying over him like that? What the fuck? Thank God that Gary Trent knows how to do a pump fake on his shot because he might have gotten really hurt right there. But, yeah, Gary was all right. I can't get mad at him. He had 6 assists too. But I expect more from him in some ways when everything's cleared up and open for him to be there. Obviously, Abaji was only out there for 5 minutes. It's kind of scary. Hopefully, we hear good news today about things that are going on with him, his injury. I already talked about Javon. I talked about Grady. All right, let's look at Jalen. 2 for 7 from the field, 0 for 2 from three. Jalen McDaniels, yeah, 3 turnovers. You know, he tied with the most turnovers with JFL and Kelly. They had 3 turnovers also. So he wasn't the worst with turnovers. He was tied with 2 other guys, Kelly and Javon, for the most turnovers. Only 4 points for Jalen. And that's too bad. In some ways, he's a scorer that should be scoring more because he has the potential, but he's not going into it. Moji, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 offensive rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 2 points. I mean, he's a G League player. He's going to do G League stuff. He was fine. I was wondering if any of those guys would do double duty because there was the option to do that. 11 o'clock game for 9:05 and then come and play for the Raptors, but none of them did. They kept them separated. And none of the guys that played for us last night on the Raptors did play for the 9:05. And we're going to do the 9:05 game in a second. Let's see. Bruce Brown, I don't know what's going on with this guy. And in some ways, everybody's saying, get them the hell off our team. And I agree. He's 1 for 3, 1 for 2 at three-point line, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, 3 points in 20 minutes. Yeah, this guy's a waste. In some ways, we know the writing's on the wall. This guy's not going to be anything with the Raptors next year. This summer, he'll probably get traded or he'll just be let go. And we won't have Bruce Brown the second next year. Jordan Wara, okay, he could have stepped up and done more scoring. 3 for 6, 1 of 2 from 3, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a block. So some stat stuffing by Jordan. He's somebody I do like and I want to keep for sure because I feel like he's been very fruitful. And I did Kobe Simmons already. I like the 6 assists by Kobe. I feel like that was an underrated stat from him. He was looking for people. In fact, Kobe showed a very unselfishness to him. In some ways, that was the aspect he wanted to put on display for everybody was that I'm not even going to try and shoot. I'm going to set up people left and right and get them baskets. And he did. He was successful at that for a bit there. So, yeah, it's too bad. Like there wasn't a better effort by more guys on our team last night to match the effort of the Knicks. It's just how it is. When you're undersized, you're going into this situation, you're going to be at a discrepancy. You're not going to be able to keep up with them. Let's see. Nako saying, Matthias or Topic if we got 4th or 6th. I like Matthias Butelis is who you're talking about. More Knicks are going to offer Mitchell and Randall and 2 firsts for Embiid. Okay. I don't know why we would do that. I feel like the Knicks are fine. They don't need to get Joel Embiid. In fact, Joel Embiid's false gold. I'm going to say this right now. I've said this before in the past already. Long time for now. I've been saying it for about 6 years. Joel Embiid's never going to win an NBA championship. And if the Knicks want to go ahead and get a blocker to them getting an NBA championship, you go ahead and acquire him, Knicks. That'll be your own damn fault that you did that. No, forget about it. You guys have what you're doing right now is much better. Joel will fuck that up. And you really want to just go get a center just to say, oh, we got the center. Well, you go ahead and get what you get if you do that. So I would advise y'all not to mess with that. If you want to go get Mitchell, that's different. If you want to go get Mikal Bridges, that's different. But y'all getting Joel Embiid is stupid. Don't do it. Trust me. Don't do it, New York. This is Raptor Freak warning y'all like I did about OG and his injury. Well, y'all don't want to heed my warning. Y'all can go get Joel Embiid this summer. Okay, you're going to get what you get. Just like Jack Armstrong would say. Yeah. I'm not totally down with those 2 guys, Nako. I like Buzelis. I would draft him, but I would not draft Topic. We've already gone over this. G saying we'll focus on this. Scotty is a beast. RJ will be hungry. IQ will get even better. Grady is a stud. Gary is working hard. Yak needs more respect. Kelly will be even more well-rounded. Yeah, I like what G's saying. Very positive Raptor fan and trying to keep it all in perspective for next year. It's health. When we come back and we are healthy once again, we will have the proper Raptors team out there to show properly what we do. You got a Chris Boucher 25, my guy, G. You are a Chris Boucher 25 at this point on the dunks. That's right. Cowboys saying 74%. Let's fucking go. That's right. 74% chance we're going to land in the 6th spot at the end of the season, and that will help us keep our draft pick with the lottery balls because it means that if we stay, everything the lottery balls does correctly, well, we should stay in the top 6. Now, it's not for sure. There could be a team that gets a higher pick and it bumps us out and we end up in the 7th spot. So it's in some ways, we not only do we want to stay in the top 6, if not advance higher on ourselves, we don't want anybody below us to get up in the top 6 because that will knock us out of the top 6 and we will be drafting 7th, and that will be San Antonio's pick. So it's a very precarious situation in some ways. And it is really important we keep losing. It really, really is. Tom Duke is here. Well, I have never, ever seen you without any Raptors gear on. Good morning. Yeah, well, I'm wearing purple, and I didn't want to wear a hat today, so wear this. You know what? Tom's here, so let's talk about the score prediction. All right, this is how it went down last night as far as predicting the score and y'all's guesses. The person who came in last was Carlo JS. He's the only one who picked the Raptors to win, and that's a big reason why. He was 49 points off the score. Carlo, I love that you picked the Raptors. So I, in some ways, respect to you, my guy, even if you did get the score the worst. Seymour was next. He was 47 points off the score in the end. I was next after that. I was wrong. I thought it would be more low scoring, and it obviously wasn't. 145 to 101 win for the Knicks. So I was 40 points off the score. That's really bad. Then tied for 9th, Naco the Nacho and Smooth with 38 points off the score each. I didn't notice this until I did the score afterwards, but Randolph and Cowboy picked the exact same score yesterday, 123 to 89. So they were both 34 points off the score. G came in 6th, 31 points off the score. Now our top 5 in predicting yesterday, David was number 5, 30 points off the score. Trevor, 28 points off the score. Stavi, number 3, with 23 points off the score. Chris, MSJ, got 2nd, 22 points off the score. And our winner yesterday, Mr. Tom Duke, getting the closest to score. Now, Tom added his score last, and he had a really big margin. I was like, that's just not nice, Tom. That's mean. And, well, the game was mean, and Tom was right. He said 129 to 99, only 18 points off the score last night. Good job, Tommy. You won the score prediction game for last night's game. Tom Ducarelli with 129 to 99, and it was 145 to 101. 18 points off the score. And it really was the Knicks' high scoring score that messed everybody up. Tommy had the highest score for the Knicks out of everybody. And that's part of the reason why he won. He said 129. And that was the highest anybody said. So good job, Tom. Good job. Good job, Abaji. Yeah, prayers for Abaji. That's what we're hoping. Name us saying this was bad. It's good to be with my people on a day like this. That's right. If anything, this is us reconvening. You're not alone. You are not alone. I am here with you to talk about the Raptors and all the things they do. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Glad Oshai's x-rays were negative. That's true. They did say that after the game. Wishing him well. As for the game, it was predictable. I'm in off-season mode. Peace out. Peace out, Fiercely Salsera. She's in off-season mode, and maybe Fiercely Salsera Jr. is in off-season mode with her seasons, too. Yeah, it is what it is. The weather's going to get better. Go do your own outdoor activities and get out and enjoy life. And maybe move on to baseball season or something like that. I don't know. The Blue Jays are coming up quick. And they got Joey Votto this year. That's cool. I like the fact that Joey's on their team right now. That's very cool. Let's see what else y'all are saying. G's saying, I hate to say this, but tanking energy brings on other losing energy, injuries, sabotage, etc. Let this be our last tanking year ever. Yeah, I mean, I hope that that's true. Once again, this is only something you do in very specific cases. Everybody who thinks, we should just normally do it all the time to just try and craft draft picks from the beginning of the season, you idiots. You idiots. In some ways, this is a very tough fight we got to have right now to battle off culture of losing. Now, what I'll say to this is, if we're not going to win games right now, what we could do to foster winning culture is try and win quarters. This is something that teams that don't win a lot, there's baby steps to getting back to winning. And one of the things you could do is like say, all right, Darko could tell them is like, look, I understand we may not win tonight, but let's do our best to try and go out there and win the first quarter and be the team that's up at the end of the first quarter. Or if we're not at the end of the first quarter and we're behind by a lot, well, let's try and score more than them in the second quarter and try and win quarters. That's a good building block, baby steps towards getting back to winning again, is taking quarters as little mini games and trying to be the team that outscores the other team just in that. That's a building block to try and win again. Now, did we win any of the quarters last night? Absolutely not. No, we did not. In fact, we got outscored by 10 in pretty much all of them. And that's just how it is. That's just how it was last night. But when we're starting to try and get better, if we're not winning a lot, well, mini goals can be, well, let's win this half at least. Let's win this half or let's win this quarter. And yeah, I'm with you on this, G. I don't think that this thing that happened with Oshai in any kind of way has anything to do with what you're saying. I think it's just a sad thing that happened where he was just up in the air. He couldn't protect himself and he fell down. And I don't even think the Knicks player touched him or anything. I think that he just went up and he was just really wild and crazy and he lost control of himself. And that's just something that happened. I don't want to make these things bigger than they are. These are just events that happen. We deal with them, we move forward, and we stay present and we keep going. Whether it's saying goodbye to Jonte, whether it's whatever. Michael Porter Jr. on ESPN today talking about his brother and whether he thinks he did this. He's defending him. He's got quotes saying stuff like, I've known my brother my whole life. I don't know what type of duty. I know what type of duty is, and I know he's excited to play basketball, and I highly doubt he would do anything to put that in jeopardy. He also said stuff like this about, like, yeah, especially the last few years, you hear people in the crowd saying what they need you to score tonight or what they don't want you to score. Every night you're disappointing someone. You're disappointing people if you score too much because they may have bet the under, and you're disappointing people if you didn't score enough. Yeah, there's a lot of talk, at least in the NCAA level, to ban prop betting. That this is an issue in the NCAA already right now, and that's really gross and disgusting. I mean, there's a lot of forces out there fighting against the betting right now, and it is really bad and it's really stupid. And I can't believe that people care about money so much that they're going to put people's lives in danger. That, I mean, I guess that I should believe that when I see a bridge like what happened this week, when I see wars fought that is all about somebody making money somewhere else at the detriment of people losing their lives. So there's a lot of bullshit going on right here. And it's too bad that the NBA is not protecting the players, the coaches, and the league from bullshit, because this is going to get worse and worse. And there's going to be a tragedy, Adam Silver, and the blood will be on your hands, you idiot, you dumbasses. This is what Michael's saying also more about the gambling. So it's a part of the game now. I think that it's obviously a dangerous habit. It's a dangerous vice for people. You know that the love of money is the root of all evil. So I think that even though it is a thing, we as players just have to accept that we get paid a lot of money to play this game. And I know these people, these fans that want to make some money as well. It's definitely something that has kind of taken over the sporting world. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a bad thing, Michael Porter Jr. You don't even have to. I don't understand how you can't think it is a bad thing with what's happened to your brother this week. Really. Now, watch the clip on ESPN of the thing I just talked about. And Woj is on there defending the betting companies. You piece of shit, Adrian Wojnarowski. You fuckface piece of shit. We know you're paid by the betting companies. So he's on there trying to say, well, the betting companies are wanting people to be responsible and respectable about their bets and stuff. And if people have individual problems, well, that's their own damn fault. The betting's just here to stay and get used to it. It's kind of what Woj said. And he's a fucker for putting the allegations about him, Jonte out there, and then he's going to have this kind of stance. Well, the betting's here to stay, y'all. He's like defending the betting companies on ESPN while this is happening and saying that, well, that's not what the problem is, that the betting companies even exist. The problem is with the individual who couldn't control himself in this situation. You are so full of shit, Wojnarowski. You are so full of shit, Woj. And you're obviously being paid by the betting companies just like fucking shams, and you're both compromised. In some ways, you guys may be part of the very front and overt opening of the problem with gambling, with your fucking manipulation through your tweets and your information dispersal. And yeah, you guys are probably going to be a part of some scandal at some point. I'm gonna bet that right now. I'll bet on that, motherfucker, that Woj and Shams will be embroiled in some sort of scandal because of their information and how they do things, and they're going to get caught doing something fucked up. Watch. Woj is a company man for the betting companies. He's going to say bullshit out there and spin to protect them. And that's what he's doing on ESPN right now. The problems with the betting, it's not with necessarily the league and the culture or the people. It's the betting companies just existing in the sphere of things. Now, Woj is trying to say, well, the betting was always there. It was illegal before. And at least now we can regulate it. Bullshit. You're mainstreaming that shit. You're putting it in everybody's faces. And it's not as mainstream. It's not as much as it was before because it was all underground. And in some ways, it's better for the criminal elements to do it in a criminal way than legalize crime and put it fucking legally in front of everybody. Seriously, you're normalizing it as it's okay. It's not. As Michael Porter Jr. said, it's the root of all evil, what you guys are fucking doing. And you're trying to normalize betting in sports by saying, oh, well, it's just going to be here and y'all need to have more self-control. Motherfuckers, you don't understand addiction, Adrian Wojnarowski. You do not understand addicts and their minds and how they have no self-control in these kind of things. And y'all are fucking immoral bastards for fucking taking money yourself and fucking saying the shit that you do. Oh, it was going to be there anyway. We might as well have it on the up and up and make it legal. That's the most asinine, full of shit fucking argument I've ever heard. You let criminals do it in the dark, and they are criminals. They get caught, they get in trouble. You legalize it, and it's all, oh, it's no problem. See, you don't understand the logic of that, you dumbass? It's because you're getting paid by them. You fuck-faced Adrian Wojnarowski piece of shit. Yeah, I'm gonna say that right there. Yeah. Monique is saying, "Good morning, Raptor Freak family. What are his father time for Garrett? We see you, Grady. Brutal game." Yeah, somebody was trying to say. I think it was Cool Cat was trying to say, or somebody was trying to say that the strategy is to run old guys off the court in the NBA these days. What are you talking about? These old guys have a lot of gas in the tank still. Certain old guys are lazy and they don't play as well as they do. LeBron, but other old guys are out there busting their ass and they'll get up and down the court. Garrett Temple, Thad Young, people like that. Yeah, they're defying age. And I'm proud of them. You can't tire out Garrett Temple. He's going to get up and down that court. He's going to take his licks. He's going to get in there and mix it up. He's playing center duties. He's rebounding against people like Mitchell Robinson. He's still in there fighting the fight. Good job, Garrett Temple. We're proud of you. You're one of my stars of the game. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Yeah, Grady, brutal game? No, Grady had a really good game last night. I wouldn't say it was a brutal game. Cool Cat saying Grady Dick is a much cheaper replacement of Gary Trent Jr. Yeah, they're different roles in some ways. They're not totally exactly the same role. And in some ways, they can exist on the same team very well. So I don't know if it's kind of like a replacement or, you know what, they're complementary. They can be out on the court together and it actually works really well. I don't know. Whatever happens with Gary, it's going to have to do with the money and how much he wants. Yeah, Fiercey's got Grady on blast. Gary, the time is running out. Uh-oh. Tom Duke saying, who else can we try out? Bobby and Masai. What's our next move? Well, it was weird. Justice Winslow didn't play in the 905 game yesterday. I thought it was because maybe he was going to get called up and come to the Raptors game in replacement of Jonte Porter. But I don't think that's going to happen. Now, the other thing I'll say this. All right, let me do the 905 game right now. Let me do my stars of the game for the 905 and look at their box score real quick. Now, the thing about what happened yesterday is Marquise Noel returned for the 905, and he was very successful. But he was on a minutes restriction. He came out there, and he only played 16 minutes. He scored 3 points at the free throw line, 0 for 4 shooting, but he took all four were threes. He missed all of them. But he had 1 rebound, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. So he was doing a lot of different stuff. In just the 16 minutes, he was allowed minutes restriction coming back from the hamstring injury. Now, what Noel did was he sparked them at the beginning of the game, and he oriented Eric Curry's 905 in the right direction to play a team game and really share the ball with each other. But he started it, but it was Amari Moore that came in and finished it. To be honest, Amari Moore is one of the most important players on the 905. In fact, I would pick him over JFL also to be an NBA player in the future because he has a wingspan. He has an all-around play. He's a defensive player. He's a dynamic scorer that can shoot 3. He can attack the basket. He's got a mid-range. He's a really nice young man. He's a really, really smart guy. In the interviews, he has a high aptitude. And possibly Amari Moore will be getting the next 10-day contract after Kobe Simmons. I will say that right now because he probably does deserve it. Now, another thing I noticed about Amari Moore is when Amari Moore has a big game, the Raptors 905 win. That every single game recently when we've won, he has been the leading scorer and absolutely the leader. So in some ways that shows Amari Moore is a very good player that's having a huge effect on good things. And in fact, he is the player of the game for me last night, the star of the game for their win against Motor City Cruise yesterday. Amari Moore, 12 of 18 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 1 of 2 from free throw line, 2 rebounds, 11 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 29 points, his career high yesterday, Amari Moore. And I'm going to say this. He can do this on the NBA level. And you know why I know this? Because he has the long wingspan and he has the ability and athleticism to do this on the NBA level. And I will say that right now. I fully endorse either Moore or Simmons as people the Raptors should probably look at for next year in training camp. And yeah, Amari was awesome. My second star of the game for the 905 is Makur. And this is maybe the other guy who could get a 10-day contract with the Raptors still before the end of the season. He's got the size. I think he's seen what's happened with their lack of size on the big club. And he's kind of seeing Moji playing backup center for us. And he's like, wait a second, guys, why don't you call me up and get me up there? Because I have a lot of length. The thing is, you don't play the post, but that's not a bad thing, Makur. He woke up and he played really well yesterday. I think he's trying to put on his skills on display to really entice Bobby Webster to give him a 10-day and let him get a shine on the Raptors regular squad. McCurr, 9 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from three, 4 of 4 at the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 26 points in 36 minutes, a plus 17. Yeah, he was awesome. McCurr, if you were trying to make the Raptors, you did a good job yesterday because you might get that 10-day. I would say it's either you or Amari that are going to get the tryout next. Seriously. Kevin O'Banner. Wait, let me go do the next star. The third star is Delaire. Jaden Delaire has actually showed up and done really good job. He is like a poor man's Jonte Porter, honestly. He looks like him. He's a little bit skinnier, but he's playing a lot like Jonte, which is kind of eerie and weird now that Jonte's in trouble with gambling. Well, the next guy's coming up. The sprouting already is Jaden Delaire. This guy's a pretty good center, 6'10". 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from three, 2 of 4 from free throw, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, a plus 18 with 18 points in 27 minutes off the bench. Jalen Delaire, my third star of the game last night. He's been showing up on my stars with them a lot. Daryl Morsell is my fourth star of the game. He started in the game last night, 40 minutes on the court, the most he's ever played in a G League game, apparently, he said. 9 of 21 from the field. Not the best shooting. 0 for 4 from three. 5 of 6 at the free throw line, but he did get 10 rebounds and 24 points. A double-double for Daryl Morsell. 2 assists, a plus 8. Now, Daryl did the interview after the game, and I could tell he's really sad because, honestly, he's been on 905 the longest. He's been around that team a long time. He's never been called up to the NBA. And I think that it's wearing on him. He sees a lot of the guys around him this year going and getting chances right now, whether it's Kobe, Javon, Moji, Justice. In some ways, I feel bad for Daryl Morsell. In some ways, if you would just throw him a little bone, just be nice, Bobby Webster, and give Daryl Morsell an NBA appearance so he can actually say he played in the NBA, that would be nice because he's done really good service for us on the 905 level for a couple years. And in some ways, you want to reward a vet like him. He's held it together in the chaos of Eric Curry, and it's been very difficult. And I could tell when Daryl was talking after the game, he's really sad about this, that he wants to realize his dream of playing an NBA game, and he may not get it. He really may not get it. And it's getting to the point where he's frustrated, I think, and it's just he's trying. So, Daryl Morsell, I wish you get your dream. And Bobby Webster, maybe just call him up. He could be a good choice for a 10-day also before the end of the season. Seriously. Kevin O'Banner is my last star of the game. He didn't get double digits, but he did get 11 rebounds, 3 of 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from three, 0 for 3 from the free throw line. See, it's not that good. It's kind of ugly. 4 assists, 1 block, 6 points, a plus 2. Yeah, I could have made it the fifth star possibly, but he was 0 for 4. Yeah, I just want to put O'Banner in there for yeoman's work on the boards. Now, the 905 played really well, and they held their lead in the fourth. I was worried that Eric Curry would choke and let them come back and beat us. There were possibilities of that with the Motor City Cruise. That is the pattern with the 905 in recent weeks, that they'll be playing really well, keep it close, and then fall apart in the fourth, and the other team just ends up beating them by the end. I kept saying in the chat, don't let these kids down because they were so good yesterday. I'm not going to lie. The kids at the school day game at 11 o'clock yesterday were so loud. They were awesome. Chanting defense. Let's go Raptors. Just, in some ways, their energy buoyed the 905 in the second half to play very well and kick ass. In particular, I thought McCurr was feeding off of the young kids' energy because he was trying to make them make pops, like get loud. He was going out there and trying to dunk and do flashy stuff to get the crowd more involved and more excited. So that crowd was really an MVP yesterday. In fact, I would say, like Kareem did, that the crowd was one of the stars of the game for sure. So, yeah, we had a new G League player on the 905 yesterday, Kirkwood. He came in and played 15 minutes, 1 of 4, 2 points, a plus 16. Also, Miles Burns, 2 of 11 with 6 points, and Drake Jeffries, 0 for 2 with 2 points. Yeah, the bench was garbage other than Delaire, basically. So, yeah, there's your 905 recap for yesterday. Good job, Eric Curry. Good job not choking for those kids and getting the win. And, yeah, let's call up Daryl Morsell. I feel bad for him. I feel like he needs to get a reward for good work with the 905 the last 2 seasons. He has really been a glue guy, a guy who's been a steady vet presence on that team in a very difficult times, for sure. So, yeah, there's your 905 setup there. There you go. Yeah. So, Tom, I would say let's try out Daryl Morsell. or Omari Moore or McCurr. Those three guys from the 905 should be the next ones up. Yeah. Fiercely saying off topic. Yesterday was Benny the Bull's birthday. I keep thinking he was retired. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Okay. This is very off topic. I have nothing to say to this. Smooth saying at this point, I have to ask, why didn't the Raptors flip Bruce Brown for a player in a 2024 pick? Flip that pick to learn that who wants it. Brooklyn. Well, once again, maybe we wanted to trade Chris. Maybe we wanted to trade Gary. We probably wanted to trade a couple guys around the trade, but nothing made sense. And their names didn't get any in the trades that were done because for whatever reason. So I bet you they did maybe try to trade Bruce around the trade deadline. Also, you got to realize we had just traded him. So there's a little bit more rules about when you can turn around and trade somebody again that hinders the ability to trade them immediately right afterwards. In some ways, the NBA doesn't want teams like swapping so quickly, a revolving door. They don't want a player like Bruce Brown to be on like 4 different teams in one season. So they kind of safeguard that kind of stuff. So I think that's why. I think that, first of all, maybe the market wasn't exactly good or the offers were exactly right. They didn't line up, so they didn't happen. And that's probably the case for Gary, Chris, and Bruce in the recent months around the trade deadline. So let's see. Yeah, flip that pick. We'll have to see what happens with him. He's going to get – something's going to be worked out, obviously, with Bruce. G saying, interestingly, almost every comment I've read about the Jonte drama has not been negative towards the Raptors, but more against the NBA betting in silver. Yeah, it's those cartoon characters trying to come in with some bullshit the other day. No, this is true. And honestly, the outrage towards the betting in sports is getting intensified, and rightfully so. We're seeing real world implications and problems with this. And yeah, everybody's like, we don't want this so much. In some ways, it's like the people that want to make money off it want the most. The public, the players, the coaches, everybody else does not want this. It's the capitalists that want to make money and utilize the system to line their pockets. These immoral pieces of shit are the ones who want to do this. And they have no regard for social problems that it may cause as far as gambling addictions, inducing young people into gambling at a way too young age. And they don't understand the long-term problems of this because all they care about is this and making a little bit of money themselves. They have no morals. In some ways, there's careless capitalism going on in our world right now. The term careless capitalism is they don't care. They only care about their bottom line. They care about black ink over red ink. They care about buybacks and shareholders' profits, and they care about CEO salaries. They don't care about whether they're degrading the environment. They don't care if they're running into bridges and collapsing them. They don't care if we're indoctrinating a whole generation into sports gambling that is just not necessary. In some ways, there was problems in the past with young people smoking too many damn cigarettes. Well, this is the exact same shit. Seriously, Adam Silver, Bet Rivers, and all you corrupt, immoral pieces of shit like Shams, Woj, and other people that are profiting from the sports gambling industry at this point. I'm just saying, you guys might as well just substitute sports bets for cigarettes. You're going to push cigarettes on young children and make them have toxic habits for later on in their life. Well, this is the same shit. You guys don't understand that, but you will over time. And somebody like me won't sound like a visionary because it's just common sense. It's common sense. Y'all want to be like this, and then we're going to turn around, come around, and you're going to have doctors on the stand and the U.S. Senate saying, yes, we knew that cigarettes were always bad for our health, and we're suing the cigarette companies at this point. Yeah, it's going to be the same kind of shit. Sports bettors, you go ahead, make your money now. We're going to come back and sue your asses for causing social problems on a broad scale across society. Yeah, and you're going to ruin sports. You're going to cause all kinds of stupid-ass issues with this. We have problems with people being abusive towards referees already in the game. We have problems with people sending horrible death threats to players already. It's only going to get worse. And you fuckers that are lining your pockets, you're all to blame, and you're going to hell for it. Honestly, you fuckers, you are. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah. All right, let's see. Stargate saying JFL is not an NBA player. Even if he was, I don't want him anywhere near this team. Send him packing. Stargate is on my side. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. This guy's a great street baller. If I go down the street to one of the parks on Queen Street where there's a basketball court and I see JFL out there, I'm going to say, yeah, I want that guy on my team because he can hoop. He can fill it up. He's a scorer. He's all kinds of baller kind of player. In some ways, that was something we wanted on this team, but you want a baller that's well rounded and does other stuff too. And I won't say that JFL doesn't do other stuff. It's just that in some ways, the player type is not one on one on my team. And that's why Stargate's saying it too with me. Mike's here. Good to see Logical Raptors Fanatic. Smooth. Masai wanted 2025 picks. So at the draft, more could be available from the no back to backs traded firsts. There you go. So, okay. So Mike has given us a good explanation for why Bruce wasn't maybe traded. So Masai wanted 2025 picks. So at the draft could be available from the no back-to-back traded firsts. Okay. So yeah, in some ways the timing of dealing Bruce is around the draft. I've heard this more and more that in some ways he will probably be moved on draft day. That will probably be the day that it happens. Yeah, good to see you, Mike. Nameless is saying, just wait until corporate gets a hold of these young fans. No, I like the fans at 905. These kids are awesome. They're doing amazing things. And the future of Raptors fans and Raptor Freak family is bright. If any of these kids are watching me and they're underage, you're not supposed to watch me, school children. I'm above age 18. I say the curse word fuck all the time. And y'all aren't supposed to be watching me. You're not, it's not for kids. But if there are kids sneaking in here watching me and learning about the Raptors, kudos to you in some ways. Don't use some of the language I use, but you will learn more about the truth of the world from watching me, that's for sure. And some of my diatribes and things that I'm saying. You'll definitely learn about the Raptors, and you may learn more about things in the world that your parents just don't want you to know if you do watch me, just so you know. But yeah, there could be little kids that are watching me, and that's why they're so good with the defense chants. Because in some ways, I taught that at the beginning of the season. I said, if we went to the games every single time the other team has a ball and they chant defense, we will be a badass crowd. And in some ways, the crowd of the 905 is exactly what I was describing and hoping for. So youth, you go on and be yourselves. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. Yeah, it's so good. Let's see. Smooth saying at Logical Raptors Fanatic. Yes, I know. It's just that Bruce Brown is completely checked out. Yeah, in some ways we got to play him because of his salary. It totally makes sense. But in other ways, it's also kind of like, why are we wasting our time with him? Well, in some ways, also, we need some quality of players out there to kind of match other teams. He is one of the more veteran players that is playing for us right now. So, like Kelly right now. But yeah, in some ways, I don't care if he's doing some undercover agent stuff because we're supposed to be losing right now. And if Bruce Brown's helping us lose by a weird turnover here, like he got called for travels last night that were kind of funny. I'm okay with it right now, but I don't want him on our team next year. That's for sure. I see you guys are throwing money at me today. I appreciate it, David, with the super chat. And Lion Hunter's here. Wow, it's been a bit, Lion Hunter. Always good to see my friend Lion Hunter show up. Thanks for the super chat. He's saying rough season. And here's Lex working his ass off every morning. Give this man 1,000 subscribers already. You are awesome, Lion Hunter. I appreciate you. Very astute, learned Raptors fan who's one of the originals, been around this channel, but has come and gone at different times. Listen, the door is always open. And yes, I will be here no matter what. Just so you guys know, you have that security of, hey, if you want to talk Raptors, it doesn't matter what the case or whatever's going on with us, and you just want to be a fan, I'm going to be here for you guys, Lion Hunter. I appreciate your return. And David's saying, thanks for being here every day, Lex. I can't imagine. So, yeah, today's a little weird. I'm some ways I'm not, man, I hate what happened last night. I really do. It hurts to see us lose to the Knicks like this because in some ways, this is what we were doing to the Knicks just a couple years ago, sweeping their ass for the season and beating them, their asses bad in New York, 50-point games by people like Pascal and stuff like that. It's too bad. Things are just how they are. Like Cool Cat said, we're resetting. We got to go through the process again. And the building blocks are there. We're going to be in good shape. One of the things that was funny, we were talking about in the Facebook chat last night, are the Raptors going to get to 100 points against the Knicks? Like Tim Thibodeau is not going to want us to score 100. In some ways, he's a defensive coach, and that's a number that he values. And he probably was harping on his guys, don't let them score 100. Don't let them score 100. And, well, we did. And what I was telling people in the chat is Darko's offensive system's so good, it doesn't matter who's playing in it. You could have the fucking 5 guys from the Y and put them down there. And if they're running Darko's system correctly, they could probably score on defenses they probably shouldn't have any business scoring on. And that's one thing we need to say about last night. The fact that the Raptors got to 101 points in that game against the possible defensive prowess of a much bigger physical New York Knicks team is an accomplishment in itself. And I will give some credit to it, just the system of Darko's offense being the reason why we got to 101 points last night. That the way we cut, all the different cutting and the different ways we get open and cultivate that stuff with lesser talented players that are not as good NBA players as the Knicks were last night is a good sign. Because when you plug in our better players that are hurt right now, well, it's going to work even better. And it's going to be much more successful over and over again. So, in some ways, a bright spot is Darko's offensive system looked good last night against a very good Knicks defense. And we did manage to get 101 points. So, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Nameless is saying they'll be sitting silently and paying 500 in no time. What are you saying? They'll be sitting silently and paying 500 in no time? You mean at the games? You mean like when they come to the games, they'll pay $500 tickets and they'll be very quiet and they'll grow up? I hope not. I hope not. I hope you can keep the child spirit, 905 crowd, and don't grow up and shut up when you come to games when you're older. Keep that energy. Seriously. You did it when you're younger. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Don't ever lose that spirit. I haven't. And I'm going to be 50 in a couple years. So, yeah, you guys keep it too. There's no rules on y'all need to shut up when you get older. If your parents are telling you, oh, you're more mature now, you should shut up. No, tell your dad, just saying, look, I can be who I want to be. And if I'm a diehard Raptors fan, I want to be loud at games. I'm going to be loud at games. And I can be 48. I can be 38. I can be 28. It doesn't matter how old I am. I'm a rabid Raptors fan. I'm going to be loud at games. That's just how it is. The old era of silent Canadian polite fans at the Air Canada Center is over. It's over, Vince Carter. It's all about the rabid, very passionate, diehard, real ones, like the youth at the 905 game yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. Chris is saying, Lex, JFL is not playing selfish ball. He is under 195 pounds at 6'3". Simmons is 190 at 6'5". Hardly a difference, but the CBS headline, Raptors Javon Freeman Liberty thrives in starting roles. So there. I don't care. I have my opinions. People can have their opinions. I'm just saying, I do not think this is the road we need to go down and invest in. I will stand by that. I'm just going to say that. I'd much rather invest in those other guys I just said. Kobe Simmons is taller, and he has longer arms, and he has a better anticipation than JFL. He's reading the floor better. In some ways, Kobe's a little bit older than JFL. He's more savvy. In some ways, he's more ready. In some ways, if this argument is Doughton versus Flynn, Kobe Simmons is Doughton and JFL is Flynn. So that's what I would say. This is the same thing last year. Those are the two people that are in different roles. Kobe Simmons is much more dependable in some ways than JFL. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, you're saying it's hardly a difference, but 2 inches means a lot, especially when the wingspan's much longer too. And that's part of it there. Hey, listen, I'm glad he's getting good press. In some ways, I hope he's on Windy City Bulls next year. That's what I have to say. Let's see. Nako's saying the NBA has encouraged betting culture it's their fault that this happened. I feel similarly to JFL that I do Wancho. Not the same player, but I see similar quality of play. JFL is more upside. Yeah, that's not a good comparison at all. Wancho was an established European player who's a totally different position. He was way more of a vet, and he was already doing NBA stuff, and he was just on his way out as a middle of the rotation kind of player that kind of just had his time in the NBA, and that's it. You know, JFL may be getting his taste of the NBA now, and that's it. He may not get very many games in the NBA. He gets the couple that he's played for them now, and I don't know what he's going to get next year. There's no guarantees. The NBA is hard. To stay in the league, it's very tough. You have to do a lot of things right to stay in this league. Seriously, you really do. Fiercely saying, yesterday had huge clutch moments. Curry, Kawhi, and Jalen Green. Next season, I'm rooting for our players to be healthy and garner accolades. Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, I love that Kawhi had a big block at the end of the game to stop and beat the Sixers and Kyle Lowry and Nick Nurse. Good job, Clippers, winning a game last night. Yeah, there was a couple of different things happening around the league. Of course, the Lakers won their game last night against the Grizzlies, which is in some ways I was hoping the Grizzlies could beat the Lakers because we want the Grizzlies to win right now. But alas, they don't have anybody playing right now. They got Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Santi Aldama. But, Marcus Smart, a lot of their other guys are not there to help them. And LeBron was playing last night. So, yeah, the Lakers, they didn't even win by a whole lot either, which is kind of crazy. That Memphis team is not that good, and the Lakers still somewhat struggled with them last night, which is kind of weird. That's kind of weird to me. Of course, the refs were helping. Scott Foster very much reffing that game. Now Boston's playing Atlanta today, and Atlanta just did a comeback from behind win over the Celtics recently, which was awesome. We were talking about it. Well, who's going to ref the game to make sure the Celtics win against the Hawks tonight for sure? Ed Malloy. Yeah, that kind of shit like that, man. That's what I'm saying. And Nameless saying JFL stinks, bro. I'm with you, Lex. Yeah, see, in some ways, we're going to be some of us like Stargate, Nameless, myself, and then there's going to be some of y'all that are very big on JFL. It's all good. Either way, I wish JFL well. And if JFL watched me and heard what I was saying, you know what I say this is to get you a fire on your ass and do even better, my guy. Anybody, if they watch me, if there's any player that ever watches me and they're like, I hate Raptor Streak, he's always mean to me. Well, prove me wrong. In some ways, this is my way of motivating you guys. In some ways, I feel like you guys could do better. If I say things about you, Gary Trent or whoever else, that's because I love you and I want you to do better. And I want you to prove me wrong, just like Fred did a long time ago. I said Fred would not make this league when he came into 905. And I was damn for sure wrong about Fred. So the road to prove me wrong is there, guys. You just got to follow the path of Fred Van Vliet, and you will prove me wrong. That's right. So JFL, you want to prove me wrong? Go do some Fred Van Vliet shit, is what I'm saying. You could do it. You could do it. Maybe. I don't know if you can. I don't think you can. Let's see. Monique's saying stars of the game for the Raptors in a bad route. Garrett, Grady, Kelly. Thinking of you, Oshai, and everyone else with the injuries. Yeah, Monique, you were at the game, right? Seeing him go down like that was very scary, and I'm sure that it was just awful to see in person. I'll bet the air was sucked out of the building at that moment, and everybody was kind of like, oh, now this? That's kind of how it felt when it happened. Even the Knicks fans were shook. I mean, the Knicks players were shook by this. They were shook by it also. You know, there was some classiness by the Knicks players last night, whether it was giving condolences and sympathies to RJ and Emmanuel on the recent passings of family members, or just in general, kind of like, kind of worried about us. I mean, we're in a bad place. I know Knicks fans were worried about us beating them yesterday in their spaces on Twitter. It's weird. Some of them were saying, we can't just think we're going to beat the Raptors. We do this and we lose to them in the past. Well, I just want to tell them, it's like, look, no, you guys are probably going to beat us. Don't worry about it. But they were a little worried about us, even in our state like it is now. But I'll bet a lot of Knicks fans, when they watched the game last night, they're saying, wow, this Raptors team is nothing like what we played earlier this season. I don't know why we were afraid of them. And wow, I kind of feel sorry for them. I'll bet you that there are Knicks fans that actually kind of feel sorry for the Raptors, especially after a Baji injury and Jonte this week. Oh my gosh. They're probably like, oh my gosh, Raptors Nation, what's going on with the Raptors is awful right now. I feel bad for them. Fiercely saying Precious probably saw the comments about his previous poor performances and reacted. It's okay, Lex. He can shine in New York. There's a reason why Masai let him go. Yeah, in some ways, he's stepping on the feet of Scotty. And this is why if we were so similar before and it didn't work, why would we get similar players now? And that's why I was saying we can't get DeMar at this point. We have RJ. So in some ways, we really got to make sure the puzzle pieces are uniquely different from each other, and they add different roles and different things that we need to flesh out in the salary cap and the roster we have. We reset from a Vision 6-9 to having more role players in the right kind of roles that do role things, and getting guys that are too similar to guys that are already on the team. It's not a good idea at this point. We really got to be very meticulous and smart about crafting our roster and how we're going to be next year. In some ways, what we're doing right now is like a big tryout, like Canada's Got Talent. My friend didn't do good. She got X'd, and it was really Lily Singh that did it. Man, she's so mean. She like faked her out. She's kind of like saying, well, I'm going to say it is absolutely a no, because you do not deserve to win $1 million for air guitar. That was so rude and mean. And in some ways, the two judges that voted against Dana Sheeman to be on Canada's Got Talent going further, I don't like you anymore. And I'm all about Howie Mandel and Trish Stratus for being enthusiastic about her energy and her air guitar work. Yeah, that was weird. That made me mad in some ways. And then again, she does have a point. Somebody who's doing air guitar probably shouldn't win Canada's Got Talent. All right, let's see. Name is saying, I'm not with the undersized guard thing no more. Sorry, JFL. Exactly. This league's bigger and badder every year. Victor Wembanyama. In some ways, height does matter in this league. It really does. And the heights of the G League are way different than the heights of the NBA. And some of the stuff that JFL does so successfully on the G League just does not happen in the NBA. Trust me. There was a play he had near the basket in either last night's game or the game before that he would have made the layup. I think Kobe had one of these too, but it's the NBA. It's not the G League. And there's Mitchell Robinson, and he's blocking your ass, and you ain't going to make it. And that's a big part of the difference is a lot of stuff doesn't translate from high school to college, from college to the NBA, from G League to the NBA. You can be a superstar in those places, but don't mean you're going to be it in the NBA, the big league, the bright lights with the crowds and the louds and all kinds of other shit that's going on around there. How does it translate? And in some ways, undersized guards, we have our history with them. I don't like it. I want to, if the smallest guy on our team is Emmanuel Quickly, and I'm fine with it. If Marquise Noel does something, okay, he can be that guy too. But that's the thing. In some ways, I'm not about undersized unless there's supreme talent. They're absolutely fundamentally perfect, like Marquise, then I can get behind it because he has a talent with passing and vision. And he is a really good shooter too. If he gets a chance to show it, he'll show it to everybody. So, man, I that's why I think differently of Marquise Noel because he's a throwback. He's a pure point guard. He has a role. In some ways, I could see him being on a roster next year and being very helpful as the third guard instead because he's straight up a point guard. And that's all he's going to ask of them to do. He doesn't care if he scores. He could come out there and get 16 assists and like 2 turnovers, and that's a great game for Marquise Noel. And he doesn't even have to score a damn point. And that's what I want to see from Marquise. He could be a little bit Muggsy Bogues, get out there, be a distributor, get some steals, maybe bomb a 3, but that's not even necessary. If he can set up people like Scott, RJ, and other Raptors up with glorious opportunities to score that they can't miss. That's what I'm talking about, Marquise Noel. That's why it's different. It's different. Mike saying, smooth, fair point. I think it will sort itself out around the draft when the team's 2024 first-round pick that they traded is picked by the other team. The team is allowed to trade their 2025 first. Yeah, some things we just got to wait for draft day. We got to wait for the lottery. We got to wait to see exactly where we stand. Yeah, Smooth saying stats can't count against whatever it was the Raptors roster was last night. Stats can't count against whatever it was. You know, I've said this, that we need to put an asterisk on this losing streak. That in some ways in the future, in history, when people look at this losing streak and they wonder what the fuck was going on, we need to put an asterisk about Scotty's handgun's broken, and we very much were kind of on the down low, really trying to lose. In some ways, it's like, look, we would have had a much better chance to compete with them if IQ and RJ showed up. In fact, Mitchell Robinson adding to the other side at the last minute actually was the reason why they got up over 40 points over us. If he hadn't been there, it would have been a little bit more even. In fact, I was wondering if they when they announced Mitchell Robinson would make his return from his injury from in December, I was wondering if we counterbalance by saying, well, IQ does have conditioning, okay, and he will play tonight. But we didn't do that. And that's the white flag right there, guys. That's the white flag. Let's see. Chris is saying, how in the world do you give Precious a star of the game? I did this the last game, too. I gave Dennis a star of the game, too. Because honestly, this is the thing, Chris. They have a body of work of playing for us this season. They have points from games early this year. So I'm giving them a little extra on their pass through on the other side. Because in some ways, they're helping the Raptors right now by helping us to lose. And, the game against the Nets the other night was in danger of us winning it. So Dennis helping us lose by being very good and leading the Brooklyn Nets, I wanted to give him a star. Now, I gave Precious a star in some ways for being a Raptor killer and doing what he did in the game last night, partly because I like him, but also because of the same reason why I gave Dennis a star, because he was a part of killing us last night. And in some ways, I want to recognize the excellence of the double-double that Precious got last night from this side. And his point total for how he contributed to the Raptors this year will get added for what he did last night, even though he was in a Knicks jersey. Yeah, I know that's weird. But I just feel like doing it. Let's see. All the Knicks went off on us. Deuce had 9 threes. Laugh out loud. JFL's the third star. Cheers for the Raptors, my guy. Cheer for the Raptors, my guy. Yeah, I am cheering for the Raptors. And cheering for them right now is for them to lose, Chris. I am cheering for them. I have my own star system. Monique has her own star system. You can have your own star system too. And I have my own sensibilities about how I select it. I don't know. Let me look at JFL again. I'll revisit and see, well, did I overlook him and should have made him one? Maybe, but not really. He was a minus 19, and I don't know. I'm a hate. He had tied with the most turnovers on the team. I take that away from people too. Kelly, Javon and Jalen were all exempt from being in the stars because they had the most turnovers. And in some ways, I do look at that when I do make the stars. His shooting was great. He did have good stats overall, but also, once again, as I said before, 14 points isn't enough. You're an advertised scorer. You need to fill up the basket. You need to carry us. Both you and Gary, I can get behind saying you guys are scorers. You need to score. Grady was scoring. He's a scorer too. Well, JFL, you and Gary need to score too. And you guys need to get 20 at least. That's what I would say. Let's see. Smooth saying there was no fight in the Raptors team last night. Only Grady showed out. Yeah, and Darko was pissed about this. Now, look, this is the thing. He's inside of it. He's being consistent. And, well, on games where we competed against top Western teams recently and just barely lost, he's been proud of them. He said things like, yeah, I like our fight. We just didn't add up to winning, but we did a lot of things right, and the effort was really good. Now, last night he did not say that. He was mad at the team. He felt like they did not do a good job. They did not show up and compete at the right level, and he was very critical of the team overall. That's a good coach. And in some ways, people will see it and they'll be like, oh, they're losing and all this kind of stuff. Well, he's holding them to a standard. And I'm sure their tape session this morning is going to be very fiery by Darko in some ways as far as what is not okay and what needs to change. And that's part of how you kind of protect winning culture while you're losing, is that coach has a standard of excellence. And if the team is not meeting it, he's going to let them know and they better make adjustments. And if there isn't anybody else at the end of the bench that can take the minutes from you because you're not doing the job right, well, you're going to get to play, because that's kind of how it is right now. There's nobody that's everybody's got to play because we don't have enough healthy bodies. You can't really punish people by benching them for not good play. You have to just play them, and the bad play is going to be out there. In some ways, that's part of the problem right there. Yeah. Let's see. David's saying, why do we dislike JFL so much up in here? Because of that one comment months ago? Well, it wasn't the right foot to step off on. I've tried to look at him, engage him fairly, and I have. And I really do stand by what I'm saying. I'm not saying this because of his comment. I'm saying this purely because of the player type he is. I've seen it before. In some ways, it's not useful in the NBA. Let's just put it that way, David. From my experience of watching the NBA for a very, very long time, in some ways, his player type, his build, we're going to say NBA 2K terms, is not good for the NBA. The 6'3" scoring guard that is not a very good distributor in a lot of ways. That's not the right recipe. If you're that size, you better be a point guard more, is what I'm saying. You better be looking for other guys. And the other thing about him is he's fundamentally not a good shooter. He shoots a lot, he makes shots a lot, but it's because he gets a lot of volume. He's not very, very good, quality-wise. He's quantity. He's a quantity player, but quality is not an aspect of him. And we can't have that. If he's going to be on the rotation next year, he's going to be a Malachi Flynn, and he's going to be out there for 5 minutes. And if he just comes out there and he turns the ball over a couple times, misses 2 shots, well, he's Malachi Flynn all over again. That's what I'm saying. He has to be the kind of player that whatever he does perfectly all the time. Jeff Doughton Jr. was that kind of player. Jeff Doughton was steady, and he didn't make hardly any mistakes. And that's what I'm saying. Jeff L makes a lot of mistakes because then later on he's trying to make up for it and doing all this other stuff. He's a quantity player. He's not a quality player. And in a role player that only gets a certain amount of minutes in the rotation, you can't have a quantity player. You need quality. You need somebody who's going to be absolutely perfect in everything that they do for the little bit of time out there. And that's what I'm trying to say on this. It's not like JFL is going to be a 30-minute player for the Raptors ever. He is right now only because guys are out. But when we're right and up and we're doing things right, well, we can't afford to play him for 30 minutes. And that's really what he needs to get to give the right contribution of what he does. He needs a lot of minutes. He leads a lot of time, but he's not efficient. He's not an efficient offensive player. And I've watched him all season on 905, and I've seen it. This is the one thing I'm going to say. I'm an expert on 905 more than any of y'all because I've watched every single damn game of theirs this year. And y'all can say, oh, I like JFL for this or this. But did you watch him all season from November in the 905 like I did? A lot of y'all did not. I know you didn't watch every single game like I did. So in some ways, I'm more learned and educated on what JFL can and cannot do because I saw the really good games down there. I saw the really outstanding stuff, but I also saw the ugly stuff too. And I understand what the ugly stuff is. Fiercely saying, I'm just glad OG embraced us cheering for him during his tribute video. He has such a beautiful smile. Now, there's a lot of love there. And he was emotional. You could tell. He's tearing up. He was tearing up from it. And it was cool seeing him interact with Superfan and other fans at courtside. You could tell he made relationships with Raptors fans that are very diehard fans like Nav. And he was visiting with them, and it was all love. It was all love. And I'm sure that he got time with Scotty after the game and the other guys too, and a little bit of palling around and saying hi and what's up. And he's family. He always will be. And obviously, OG's going to embrace his Raptor roots in the future. I'm pretty sure he will. He's that kind of guy. He won't turn his back on our franchise. He will be around our team in the future. I'll bet. He's an NBA champion with the Raptors. So that's something right there. Chris is saying last night the Knicks had a massive rebounding advantage. No lie. No lie. That's exactly true. As a shooter, knowing that gives you a huge confidence to shoot free, and the Knicks did that. They didn't even need their rebounding advantage because they were just making them all. They were shooting like 70% for most of the game. It's only their shooting percentage went down when they brought in their end of the bench for the garbage time at the end. Yeah, you're exactly right, Chris. And the rebounding advantage has been on the other side of most of these games this whole entire losing streak. Absolutely been an advantage of size on the other side of the ball for other teams against us since Jakob got hurt. Absolutely. Nameless is saying it was absolutely a revenge game for Precious. Didn't he not even acknowledge his tribute video? Was like, F y'all. Well, this is something that's happened a lot in the past. When we do these tribute videos, well, if the player's playing and they're engaged or they're busy in the timeout, they don't acknowledge it. Whether it's a Team Canada guy, whether it's a former Raptor. This kind of shit has happened many times. I'm not mad at Precious for this because in some ways we don't know Tibbs' rules. He may have a rule where you have to be very focused in timeouts, and you cannot be like doing, oh, hi, thank you, and all this stuff. He was involved in the timeout at that moment, and he was listening to his coach when that was going on. I think that if he was not playing like OG in street clothes, it would be easier for him to say hi and wave to everybody and be so happy and stuff. You know, the Siakam tribute happened before the game and not during the game. And that was helpful because Siakam did play against us when he returned to Toronto. And that's the thing. That's part of it right there. He may have had to be in the zone because the Knicks coach makes him. And he don't want to get in trouble and have to run like up and down the court in practice because he didn't listen to coach during the game. So, yeah, I'm not mad at Precious for that. In some ways, that's professionalism. And he's playing for the Knicks. He's currently got to concentrate on that. Some people will be mad at Precious for that, but I'm not. There could very well be another return when he comes back, and we'll see him a lot more warmer towards us. Let's see. Tom's saying, not good enough. If we're doing this audition thing for a better squad, I'm going to compare all of them to those that we have moved on from. Siakam, OG, Precious, Malachi, and a guy named Fred VanVleet. Yeah, Tom, I can get behind this. But once again, we got to understand those guys were seasoned and put time in, invested, and they came to the point where they are as players over time. And these guys are at the beginning of their journey, some of these guys. Some of them are not worth trying to go forward with. Trust me. Yeah, I don't know. In some ways, I have my favorites. I wish that the stupid gambling guy didn't do what he did because he was one of them. Jordan Wara, Jamias Ramsey. Yeah, those are two that I like that we've seen recently. We'll have to see who Bobby and Masai like this summer. Chris is saying, maybe this channel is turning into an ex-Raptors tribute thing. Laugh out loud. Precious is gone. He could give a shit about the Raptors now. Jack is right. Precious is a limited skilled rebounder. Well, I'm going to agree to disagree on this. You know what? This is a Raptors channel, Chris, and we do celebrate Raptors that are in good standing with us. You know, Raptors culture is something I'm trying to build on this channel, whether it's me doing the birthdays for Ed Pickney yesterday or me talking about hanging out with Terrence Ross on Twitch. These guys are not on the Raptors anymore. But once you're a Raptor, you're always a Raptor. As much as like RJ and Emmanuel are always going to be Knicks. So there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing. This is a Raptors channel. In some ways, like I said, Precious and Dennis have helped us this week because we don't want to win. And those guys were on teams that helped us get beat. So, yeah. Precious, in some ways, if y'all are haters of him already, that's fine. In some ways, this is exactly like me with JFL, except in a different way. I have a lot of respect for Precious's tool bag, and I think he's going to get better still. I still believe next year he's going to be much better, and Jack is wrong. In some ways, like thinking that his potential is never going to arrive is wrong. This guy's very close. In fact, I wish we'd hung on to him just a little bit longer because he's about to do something more. Watch. And you'll all see what I'm saying next year and then be like, damn, Lex is right again. I'm just saying, I have a feeling, and I may be wrong, and Jack's right, or maybe Jack's wrong and I'm right. We'll have to see. I'll go against Jack Armstrong on this one and say that I believe in Precious. I'll bet on Precious. Let's see. Most saying, right now, because our team's so bad, also, Chris, I want to spread some of the joy and success of our projects, people that we built up here, like Siakam and Anunoby and Fred. They are people we should be proud of because they're a part of our history and our culture. And a lot of what they became was here. So, just because your kid goes off to school doesn't mean you can't be proud of them. And they went off and did something. They're doing something else. And vicariously, I will root for their teams also because I love our former players. If they're on good standing, they did everything right when they left, then I'm not mad at them. They did something like Bosch or Carter. Yeah, I don't like them anymore. Or Nick Nurse. Yeah. But if you leave in good standing and you didn't do anything wrong, you haven't badmouthed the team, you haven't done anything crazy, said something about the metric system in Canada, well, then I like you and you're a former alumni and I want to keep those alumni connections going. So forgive me. This is the Raptors channel, Raptors Freak channel, and Raptors are Raptors. Right now our Raptors aren't so good. I want to focus on Fred VanVleet's winning streak with the Rockets a little bit and root for him. That's my choice. I think there's a lot of Raptors fans that are rooting for other teams right now, like the Pacers, the Knicks, the Clippers, the Pelicans, the Rockets, because we have former fan favorites on those teams that we want to see have success. That's right there. Yeah. Most saying Team Canada schedule came out for the Paris Olympics. I'm very happy about it. Yeah, there's a little bit of the schedule is out now. The games are at the end of July. Most of them are in the afternoon. There is a 7:30 game that Monique has already told us she will not be there to watch the game with us. But yeah, get ready for watch along action with me watching Team Canada and international play around the Olympics this year. I will be doing the preliminary games before that. Even I'll do the game at Summer League with Vegas when they face Team USA earlier in the summer, and we will be doing all the Olympic games for sure too. And I watch along those games. I don't watch along Raptor games, but I do watch along Team Canada. So be ready to hear my color commentary and play-by-play all in one in me while I'm calling the game. I will call the games for you guys just like Matt Devlin. So be ready for that. I'm happy about it because I know Mo doesn't have to get up very early, except for one if she wants to watch it. But the other ones are all in the afternoon, which is much better time for her. I like that. Smooth saying, I like Precious as well, but for RJ and IQ, you have to include him in the trade 10 out of 10 times, man. Yeah, I wouldn't change that trade in any kind of way. In some ways, New York, to make it okay for them to part with IQ and RJ, they needed Precious in there also. I felt like it was a very balanced trade. I really do. I don't think that one team won over egregiously more than the other. Knicks fans probably think that they absolutely won this trade, but they're only going on the short-term returns. Right now, yeah, it does seem like that. OG's been amazing catalyst for y'all to win, and Precious has been a very suitable backup for a lot of different ways. But our guys have been hurt or not been able to be there because of grieving. And in the long term, the development of RJ and Emmanuel is going to grow, and it may look like we may have won the trade more and more as time goes on. The other thing that's going to be a big factor is the first pick in the second round and who we get for that. That's going to be added to the balancing of who won the New York-Toronto trade around Christmas. It will be who we finally pick with that pick we got in that trade also. Malachi's already gone from that team, so he's a wash in some ways. In some ways that you could say, oh, you got traded for these guys, and that's what Malachi is now. He's Alec Burks. Okay, well, Alec Burks has been sucking. He's been sucking a lot lately. So let's see. Carlos saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. What is amazing is that Grady turned his shit around midseason. Yeah. Like, honestly, I didn't know where things were going to go with Grady. It looked really disappointing for the first half of the season. And really a huge turnaround. Carlo's exactly right. I'm very happy about that. In some ways, that's a success story on the down low that people may not talk about this season, is Grady's rookie year has been a huge success. And in some ways, we want to look at all the negative, bad shit around our team. No, focus on the positives, and the positives will grow. Think about the great new foundation laid out by Darko setting up for the future. And also think about the amazing growth of Scotty and Grady this season. Both very much success stories. Very much. Mike saying Grady Dickerson has legit wheels. His cuts are nasty. Yeah, he's very, very good. Very, very good. Some Knicks fan was saying we should do a jersey swap between Precious and Grady. I don't think you understand how jersey swaps work, my guy. That doesn't work as well as you think. Is Precious' name on the back of his jersey Precious? No, it's Achua, you dumbass. So yeah, why would you? What you think it's going to say Precious Dick? You dumbass. Knicks fans are dumb, honestly. I can't believe somebody said that. Do the jersey swap with Precious. Okay, why? Why? I know it's kind of fun to see Precious interacting with the guys on the court. You could tell in some ways he was going at Grady, and there's some respect there in some ways. I could tell. I could tell. Carlos saying I'm apathetic to Gary Trent Jr. now. I don't care if he stays or goes. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. In some ways, in an ideal world, he would stay and it'd be a cheap contract, and he would blossom and be a really good value on a lower cost. But I know that's not what the ideal world is. Once again, this Rich Paul clutch bullshit is going to probably fuck this whole situation up, just like it did with Fred last year. So yeah, I'm not feeling good about Gary coming back. Partly because in some ways I don't want to invest the money in him with his inconsistency is part of it. Yeah. In some ways, I get the feeling that he's not the kind of player that Darko likes anyway. There's a lot of things that are Gary's strengths that Darko does not want. And the mid range game is a very big part of it right there. Very, very big part of it. Let's see. Smooth will get it. Smooth did get it. Smooth getting John Turner. Amazing. Amazing. I would not have got that myself. Who does he kind of look like? I don't know. Who does he look like? He looks like a football player that I know, but I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't have gotten that myself. That's amazing. Wayne saying, you are allowed to love your precious gems. You have stated before Nick Nurse gave him room to try things out of his comfort zone. Darko again had him playing outside that zone. He's now with his talent role. Yeah. Tibbs doesn't want him taking all these threes. He did take a three last night. He missed it. And he doesn't really want him handling the ball too much. So he has limited him a lot more since he's been in New York. And in some ways, who cares? In some ways, I wish that he'd be with a coach still like Nick or Darko, because that's where he's going to get his potential untapped. And maybe people were like, oh, he's not happening. No, I saw the signs of it, and it was starting to develop, but people were impatient. And in some ways, people were negative about how Precious was doing things, that they didn't really want him to get more time. There was a lot of buzz around that. I disagreed with that. I felt like he should have gotten more time to try and do better. So, yeah. All right. I love it. Smooth getting John Turner. MSJ saying Brunson is 6'2" and 190, and he's a more undersized guard. He's some undersized guard, 6'2" and 190. Undersized guard, Jalen Brunson. All right, well, he's of the Fred VanVleet build ilk. He's in that little club, and in fact, Marquise is in this club too. The undersized guards that are going above and beyond. They have a certain bulldog spirit in them. Jalen Brunson has worked very hard to get to where he is right now. He's a bona fide all-star, and he's doing a good job. He's gone the route of Fred VanVleet. That's what I'm saying. If JFL can be like those guys, he can do it. But I don't believe in him. I think that this is rare. It's not like these guys are very common. JFL, he may not get the traction and get to this point. Jalen Brunson is bona fide at this point. And yeah, he is undersized. But the other thing about Brunson is he's very strong and very stout. And that's like Fred. And that's part of the reason why these guys are different than JFL also, is that their strength is like a forwards, even though they're guards. In some ways, we've seen Fred muscle the ball away from centers in this league. JFL can't do that shit. And that's the difference. You can be undersized, but if you're also strong and quick, that's different than being just quick and undersized. But if you're strong, like Brunson and VanVleet, that's another weapon, is what I'm saying. David's saying, you are the GOAT. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe Smooth got that. That's so good. Smooth Brown God. Mike, you can get a dunk for that. That's hilarious that you said that. That is so hilarious that you said that. All right, let me see. Where is that? Smooth Brown God. All right, I'm going to give Mike a dunk for that. You're at Doug Christie 13, guy. Doug Christie 13 for Logical Raptors Fanatic. I love it. All right, let me see. Where am I? I lost my chat. Let me see where I'm at, guys. It's Logical Raptors Fanatic that I just read. Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? All right, I'm definitely going to need a cutoff. You guys have filled it up. I love it, though. In some ways, I have time, but I do want to watch Survivor. I'm going to watch the episode of Survivor on DVR after this. Let me see. Okay. He knows the 90s Rockets, and he's actually admitting that he has this card. So that's why he knew it was John Turner, because he actually owns this card already. So that makes sense. All right, Smooth. That's awesome. You know what? I'm going to give you a dunk just for awesomeness. He has the card, so I've got to give him a dunk. You're getting – oh, wow. Why doesn't Smooth have more dunks? I'm amazed by that. You're going to get a three-pointer right now. You're a Scotty Barnes 4 right now. You got 4 now. I can't believe you only have one dunk, Smooth. That's crazy. Let's see. Fiercely saying Smooth must be happy. Rockets are on their 10th straight win. Yeah, it's his old school team. I know he's a Raptor fan first now, but he can't be upset about seeing a former Raptor Fred doing that. Kareem saying, I'm going to be careful with this analogy because, especially this time of year, but Jonte is like Jesus. He sacrificed his career to better the gambling across all four major sports. Thank you, sacrificial lamb. To better the gambling? I hope to hurt the gambling in some ways to get it the hell out of there. Yeah, that's very touchy what you're doing. This is not the time to do this. It's Good Friday on Friday, apparently. Yeah, yeah. All right, Cream. I'll allow it. I'm not upset by it. I'm maybe somebody else in this chat might be. I don't know. Jonte, some sort of martyr is what you're trying to say. I don't know. In some ways, what if he is innocent and somebody just did this to be manipulative to hurt the Raptors getting a center? And what if it's true that Coloco's fine and somebody made up some bullshit and that this is all fucking bullshit and people are just trying to fuck with the Raptors? Like, seriously, there could be malfeasance. There could be all kinds of weird shit that happens for these kind of things. I don't trust people in this world anymore. There's all kinds of ways to make waves and ripples in weird ways through social media and perception and dumbass weird shit that I hope Coloco gets his health back and he can return to the NBA, and he for damn sure better be in a Raptor red jersey if he does. And then Jonte, if he's a patsy and somebody orchestrated some elaborate scheme to fucking fuck him up on our team this way, yeah, that's the world we live in at this point. There's a lot of manipulation of perception and reality. And if Jonte's absolutely innocent and some fucking crazy ass shit happened, yeah, I'm gonna be pretty pissed at this. But this is a cautionary tale, and people will need to know about it. Most saying amazing but funny tribute video for OG. Yeah, very different than the other ones. A lot of comedy in it. A lot of OG funny moments for sure. Fiercely saying, I've seen fits that are way weirder than Scotty's. Hello, Kyle Kuzma, repeat offender. Oh, yeah. I would even say Gary's fits are a little bit weirder than Scotty's. I would say that. I'd say Precious has had weirder fits than Scotty's in the past years. Scotty's got a little bit of a style of leather and kind of like rough. I'm a tough guy. Like I ride a motorcycle. And maybe a little bit more kind of like jackets and kind of he always has some weird pants on usually too. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercey. I'm not a Rockets guy anymore. It was only in the early 90s. Cards, posters, things like that. Okay, see, he's fully Raptors Nation at this point. Smooth. Mike saying that guy had a similar face to Greg Oden for me, but I know it was wrong. Yeah, I can kind of see Greg Oden on John Turner. Yeah, just a little bit. Randolph saying, Lex, we should not feel bad about the loss and the amount by which we are losing. It's like a G League team we're putting out there against the NBA's best. This is true. I mean, when you have Gay, Simmons, and JFL out there, that's 3/4 of the 905 team that was playing last week in Mississauga. Yeah, that is extremely true. It's exactly right. David's saying this lull thing drives me bonkers. Yeah, it's kind of bugging me too, David. It's kind of bugging me too. Mike, you and your youthful goofiness with your lull. It's in some ways I'm with David on this one. And Tom does it immediately afterwards. Let's see. Nameless saying logical salute to you, my guy. Yeah, respect. Respect. What did Mike used to always say? You always just say, oh man, you always had a big ups thing you said whenever you came into the stream. And I always like that. I know you do it still some time to time. Maybe you'll do it again. Okay, he's doing logical. Okay, Tommy. It's so nice to have you guys back. Honestly, when y'all were gone for a little while, it's like, man, it's just sad. These are my dudes. And I was like, I hope they come back at some point. And to see you guys back, it really means a lot to me. And I know everybody else is very, very happy to see you guys. You guys are friends, and we missed you guys. Just like when friends are away, you don't see people for a while. Maybe summer, you have school, not school, and you don't see your friends until you come back to school. It's that kind of shit. We feeling that right now for both you guys, Mike and Tom. Definitely. Now, what does it even mean, lol? Yeah, I must not be getting something. I think it's just a Twitch way of saying laugh out loud is what it is. Laugh loud, laugh loud, laugh aloud. I don't know. I can't logically figure this out, but logical might be able to. Let's see. Wayne saying, I don't agree, Smooth. If Precious was given the same role here, he would have been very fruitful, but we did not. I think his handles are sufficient, but he made unwise decisions. He's still basic. Well, he was put in situations where he have to make quick decisions, and he didn't always succeed. He did have fails in that, but in some ways, people were way too like harping on him to be perfect. I felt like, all right, this is the way I kind of look at things with every player in the league is what are you, a net positive or a net minus? And in some ways, Precious Achua is always a net positive to me. He could have turnovers, he could miss threes, but meanwhile, he's getting like 10 or 12 rebounds, he's getting 2 blocks, and he's putting all of his easy bunnies near the basket back in. Now, some people say, wait, he's missing some of those bunnies too, Lex. Don't forget that. But is he overall a net positive, is what I'm asking you. Is his defensive prowess being utilized against multiple size players in different positions? And that's very, very valuable. That's a net value right there. Is he boxing out? Is he aggressively grabbing rebounds? And that's more of a net positive than the little ticky-tack things they all don't like that he doesn't do exactly right. That's the way I look at it. And I've always felt that almost always the Precious was a net positive overall. Now, when he's paired up with Malachi and he comes out as that bench unit, sometimes that wasn't true. And that's partly Flynn's fault. Let's just put it that way. It's partly Flynn's fault. Yeah. Yeah. MSJ saying it's not Parliament, it's pure Rick James out there. I don't remember George Clinton getting down in such slick fashion. Laugh out loud. Leopard skins next. Well, Chris, I'm going to have to give you a music lesson. You need to go watch some Parliament Funkadelic today. If you think that this is Rick James, no. Especially Precious and Gary and Scotty, that is P-Funk style. That's P-Funk style. That's straight up P-Funk. You might even go ask Precious. When he wore those glasses that he had that hung over his eyes, that's fucking George Clinton, bro. That's George Clinton. You can think that's Rick James, but Rick James came after the Parliament P-Funk. And he is influenced by the P-Funk. So that begets to Rick James. Rick James, there's no Rick James without George Clinton and P-Funk. I'm telling you right now. You go back and look at Bootsy Collins and see what the bass player was wearing. You see him in the Delight video. You've seen his style on there. Grooves in the heart. Well, I'm telling you, the bassist of Bootsy's Rubber Band, bassist of Parliament Funkadelic from before Bootsy Collins, which you go look at his style. You go look at George Clinton in any YouTube clips from the 70s and earlier of him playing. Yeah, no, dog, this is P-Funk culture. I'm telling you right now. And the bell bottoms will tell you that. In some ways, sure, you could say Rick James had the style of that kind of that, but he got it from George Clinton. I'm sorry. And I think that most old heads in here would agree with me on knowing the timeline of when music came out. That Rick James really became big in the late 70s and early 80s. And meanwhile, these guys were doing it in the early 70s, the Parliament Funkadelic. And their starship made it all very alien and stuff. There's no Outcasts with ATL aliens. That whole motif with Andre 3000 is directly from George Clinton in the Parliament Funkadelic. So, yeah, I'm going to disagree on this. The fashion sense is definitely P-Funk. And you could ask Gary Trent, whose style are you looking at? I'm looking at P-Funk. Who are you doing that with the curls and the way you do things with your style, Precious Achua? The P-Funk. And Scotty too. I'm telling you, it's the P-Funk. Fiercely saying, watch out for Grady's new look next season, or like my daughter would say, his glow up. Yeah, there was some pictures of glow up I posted in our Raptor Freak family chat or in the group on our Facebook of SGA and his glow up from his first time at a Team Canada jersey to where he is now. And you can see muscles more pronounced on him. He's growed up real good. I don't know if you'd call it a glow up or a grow up because he got bigger with his body. But yeah, I'm sure Grady may have a tattoo. In some ways, I'm wondering what man Grady will look like as boy Grady is right now. His face may change a little bit. He may look like a different person in a couple years from now. He may grow out of looking very youthful like a teenager, and he'll look more like a man. You will see this probably. Seriously. He's got a young looking face like me. So I don't know how long he'll look young like that, but it could very well be all of a sudden Grady's showing up for training camp and we're like, who is this man who's playing for the Raptors all of a sudden? He's definitely going to be maturing and growing up for sure. If not glowing up with maybe some cool tats. Most saying shout out to Randy and the crew for the love on Raptors Tonight. Short and nice. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't been watching their shows lately. But I know Randy Urban and those guys, whatever they're doing, I support, and I love that show. That's one of the best Raptor contents out there is Raptors Tonight, hosted by Randy Urban. Yeah, for sure. Nameless is saying Smooth is the smoothest, sleekest brown man in history. I don't know if this is a contest. I don't know. Do we get dermatologists to judge this, the panel of dermatologists, Neutrogena advocates? I don't know. Are they going to come down and find out for sure? I don't know. I'll say this. When I shook hands with Irvin Magic Johnson, his hands were some of the smoothest hands I'd ever touched in my life. Like he had some crazy moisturizer on his hands, Magic. And he might be the smooth brown man. Him, actually, Magic Johnson. I'm just gonna say that. Smooth's laughing about it. He thinks it's funny. Mike saying, "Lull is a pic of a chubby guy chuckling. You can Google Twitch to see what it looks like. Basically, it's just a habit for me. It's just his laugh out loud at this point. It's all good, Mike. You do what you do. I'm accepting of it. It's fine. David and I's old head grumpiness is kind of like, what is this bullshit? This young youth bullshit LUL stuff that Mike's doing. But you do it. It's fine. It's fine. It's a picture of a chubby kid doing it. Okay, I might go look at this. I probably won't though. Davis, yes, sir. Dap. And Cowboys got Mo on blast. I love it. Smooth saying Precious showed a lot in Miami as well. In Toronto, now New York. He's got the ability. Buyer beware, though. Remember James Johnson? Yeah. James Johnson's still in the league, too. I mean, listen, Precious is going to be what Precious is. I was okay with Precious being exactly what he was on the team already. I honestly was really happy with what Precious does for the Raptors. In some ways, I could see new levels he could get to, but if he had never gotten to new levels, I would have been happy with him being on the team still because he's a very, very good player and supremely talented athletic player. Seriously. Respect. Thanks for the lull explanation. Logical. Yeah, I appreciate that. Racing was saying, did I win the spread last night? I didn't even write you down. You were last after Carlo. Fiercely saying, no mention of Bruce Brown, 3 points in 20 minutes. He got to go. Yep. G saying, people are threatening Draymond for making Steph cry. This year's scripts are wild. Well, Draymond makes the bed he lies in, honestly. And I wish that, honestly, seriously, you need to be able to see yourself more objectively from the outside, Draymond. You don't have anybody in your inner circle that can kind of give you a reality check. Well, you're in trouble. You're absolutely in an island on your own, and you're fucked. That's the problem with these people, that their egos and they get untouchable and they don't have any naysayers around them. People that kind of keep them grounded, maybe a friend or a family member they've known all their lives, just saying, Draymond, you're fucking up, bro. If there's nobody in his life doing that, he's in trouble. He's never going to get checked right. The NBA won't do it. And his ego is not able to have the consciousness to get outside of his own fucking self to see just what an ass he's being right now. It is what it is. He gets what he gets. Chris is saying IQ is a 6'2", not 190 guard, some useless undersized guard. I don't get the JFL size concern. Anyway, Masai believes it, and I can see it in JFL. He's not a Flynn 2.0. And Tristan, thank you for the W stream. All right, there's a big difference between IQ and JFL. IQ was drafted. IQ is a high-level blue chipper 5-star recruit. JFL's not this. This is the thing. You don't magically become this while you're in the NBA and develop into this at that size. This is what I'm trying to tell you, Chris. When you show up to the league, you are who you are already when you show up when you're undersized. Muggsy Bogues showed up at 5'3". He was already stealing the ball as a rookie and getting assists and getting a lot of steals. He was undersized, but it worked. It worked already. IQ is a bona fide NBA player. You can say that. His bag is way better than JFL's. He's a better shooter. He's a better dribbler. He's quicker. He's got more in his bag, and he is a better level player. At his size, yes, he's undersized, but he makes up for it with quickness, skill, making his shots, all kinds of other areas. He was a known quantity and was drafted in the draft. JFL, I don't know where he was drafted. I don't know how he came in the league. He's trying to come in the league the back door. Undersized guards don't get in the league that way. That if you're undersized guard, you are found out for your talent in the draft and you make it that way. Now, Marquise Noel is the cusp of it. He's maybe on the very, very edge of being not in the NBA and not in the NBA. He's undrafted, but he's a pickup immediately after the draft. He's almost like these are the guys who were not drafted at the end of the night. Boom, we want dibs on Marquise right now, and we're bringing him in. Now, that's the thing. I'm saying the path for JFL is so hard. If you are not a known, projected, coming in this draft, high-level player like Rob Dillingham or Emmanuel Quickly before him, your chances are not good. And it's very, very hard. If you're a taller player and you're not as good like Mo Gee, and you just need to fill out a little bit or get more experience, you have a better chance because you have a frame in the NBA that can be usable in different ways. That's the problem. The skill talent level has to be overwhelming if you're going to be a little guy like Emmanuel Quickly. And he is overwhelmingly talented. JFL is talented, but he is not overwhelmingly talented to the point where he was drafted in the NBA draft, and that's the path he came in on. That's the big difference. That's the big difference between a Cason Wallace and Emmanuel Quickly and a Javon Freeman Liberty. And that's what I'm saying. In some ways, Malachi Flynn was a draft pick, and he didn't work out. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so, even if you're a draft pick, you don't always pan out and work out in this ways. It's much even harder if you're coming from the outside through the G League exit through the back door. And I'm just saying. Tristan, good to see you. W Stream, thank you. I appreciate that. Name is saying the one with the crazy doors and the weird quicksand and laugh out loud. What was that even about? I forget about that. The one with the crazy doors and the weird quicksand and shit. When did I say that? I don't even remember why I said that. That's funny. Monique's saying, I still can't believe the 905 ticket sales. I know I can't either. It's amazing, but it makes sense. They're doing a good job of marketing it. You know, people like Gubstown Clink, they get their tables and they have season ticket holders that actually come back. You know, I've watched the arenas where they travel in the G League and there's nobody at those games. There may be like 20, 30 people at a Westchester Knicks home game. There's nobody at a Squadron game in Alabama. You know, it's just like that. And in some ways, there's an encouragement of people to come from that market in Mississauga. You know, the GTA has a lot of people in it. And some of the people in Mississauga don't want to come all the way downtown to a Raptors game. Well, they can go to the 905 game. And that is, they have their own fan base in a certain way. And they've done a really good job of cultivating it. Greg's friend, Courtney Charles, who runs the 905, has done an exemplary job in that kind of way. You know, I can't say good things about the GM or the coach, but I can definitely say good things about the facilities people, the promo people, and the people that get people excited to come to 905 games. They're doing a fantastic job. They're doing an AAA plus job. And that is it right there. David saying, Eric must be doing a great job, Mo. No, it's not Eric. It's what I just said, David. Eric Curry at the game last night at the Raptors game, wearing a T-shirt and looking like a slob and standing outside on the court while Kobe Simmons warms up before the game, watching his former players, or his players still, I guess, if they come back. No, they won't be back for tomorrow. Get warmed up, and Eric Curry showing up. In some ways, I'm like, okay, Eric, good to see you in the Scotiabank Arena. You know, we didn't really see Eric around the Raptors too much in different ways. I really do hope Coach Evo is going to be coaching the 905 next year. That is my pick, Darko and Masai. Put Coach Evo in Mississauga next year. He's going to be a much better coach. He'll get very good things out of them. And in some ways, he will be like a mini Darko running the Raptors 905, the G League team for the Raptors. And he knows Darko really well inside and out. So I'd trust him to establish all the things that are important for Darko Rajakovic on the 905 level if he is coaching it next year. Ivo Simovic. You should be having him be coach of that 905 team for 2 years in a row now. It'd be a great experience for him and for progressing his coaching career. And it'll be absolutely a great fit and a good substitute as mini Darko on the 905 team. That's what I want right there. David's saying Eric must be doing a great job. Yeah. Tomorrow will hopefully be his last game coaching in the Raptors organization ever again. Carlos saying, I don't want the Pacers to go deep. I want that pick in the teens. You know, it doesn't matter where they go in the playoffs. It matters where they finish in the standings, Carlo. So if they're middle of the pack, it doesn't matter. Once the season's over, well, wherever they finish in the season, it won't matter how far they go in the rounds. So that's not a concern you should worry about. Randolph saying, freaks, LaMelo Ball out for the season with ankle injury as the Hornets eliminated from the NBA playoffs. We are not alone. Yeah. Well, he hadn't played in a long time anyway. He barely played this year. Honestly, he really barely played. Fiercely saying, Edgy, not to support that behavior, but it's annoying as fuck to witness one getting chance after chance while your teammate just wants to compete and win. Draymond is a distraction. Golden State Warriors need to make a decision. His time's passed. In some ways, they hold on to the past of the Warriors dynasty too long. They're going to fuck up their future. And in some ways, Draymond, in some ways, has gone toxic, majorly toxic. His little game has been okay and coddled in some ways, but as his skills deteriorate, he may lean more into being a abusive player, and because he can't play as well as he could when he was younger. So I think this is a bad situation. In some ways, this is Adam Silver's Frankenstein's monster, and he created this shit. The Warriors, if they're smart, they cut loose with Draymond, and watch, he'll end up on the Lakers with LeBron all of a sudden. Watch, it'll be stupid, and they'll have more of a circus with their team with Draymond there.
David saying, in reference to JFL, last time I checked, he's on a contract. I'll root for him since he's a rapper. And apparently that's what we used to do. I don't know. Go JFL. Well, I don't know why I'm so anti JFL. And you guys can fight with me about it. I just feel like this is the advice I want to give to Masai and Bobby. If they do watch me and they have any kind of like respect for my opinions, well, I want to be honest about how I feel. And that's how I feel about this. He may be on a contract for next year, but it's not totally guaranteed. And anything can happen. We'll see how things go. In some ways, his destiny will be created by the rest of the season. And also months before next season, I can change my opinion about him. But I don't see it happening because I don't think the potential is actually there. I think that what he does is what he does, and that's it. And either he gets more efficient and gets a higher shooting percentage on less shots, or he doesn't. And I stay with my position on him. I stay with my position on him. I want to be supportive, but me being supportive of the team isn't just blind allegiance to whatever they do is just absolutely perfect. I know it seems like that to people sometimes, but that's not actually true. I will be critical and I will kind of have not totally positive thoughts about people around the Raptors, like Eric Curry or JFL, if I feel like they're necessary. Chris is saying Kobe Simmons is not an extremely good defensive player. I will disagree. And his shot is not pure enough. Ramsey won't ever be back. Come into the light of JFL, Lex. He's my Raptor Jesus. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you guys maybe don't need to be doing the Jesus references today, Kareem and Chris. I know that there's certain people in the stream that actually are very religious, and they probably would be insulted by you guys bringing him up like that. Just so you know. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you on the Kobe stuff. His defense is really good. He has a long arm span. He's very tuned in. He's working really hard. I saw him give really good full court pressure. And once again, he's telegraphing passes and getting steals in a very, very masterful, high-level way. In some ways, he's showing anticipation. And that's not a lot of guys on our team that have that level of anticipation. And that's part of the reason why I really was impressed with him. Plus, his unselfishness was very good last night, honestly. In some ways, I don't think JFL could be as unselfish as he is in certain ways. He's just not as a character. So his shot is not pure. Well, it's a weird thing. His shot is actually technically good, but it's not pure like Grady's. No. And he does go cold and hot. But when he's hot, that's the other thing. He can really get going. There were games this season on 905 where Kobe Simmons carried them and was absolutely brilliant scorer, flirting with 40 points, like getting 38 points and just filling it up. And it was a mix of things. He'd mix it up with drives and three-point shots. And I don't know. I'm just going by my scouting that I've always done in my entire life. I've watched basketball for a long time. My opinions are not necessarily the opinions of everybody else's, but they are solely my own. And I'll make that disclaimer. The views on this broadcast are not necessarily the views of Rogers Sportsnet or TSN because I'm not on those fucking places. The views are solely the person's of his own, this person, me. Yeah, because it's my channel and I'm fucking making my own views. So yeah, the views are of this channel and it's me. And that's just what it is. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I just described a path where JFL can get better with me, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Ramsey could very well be back. In fact, Darko made a nod in an interview the other day, Chris. I don't know if you saw this. He said, yeah, he made a nod that Ramsey is going to be revisited this summer. He very much gave a clue that said yes. It was like, because the reporter said, do you think that we're going to circle back and see Ramsey again this summer? And he said, yes. So don't say that Ramsey's not coming back. You're wrong, because Darko actually said in the interview that we have plans to bring him back this summer. We didn't want to keep him on going right now because we wanted to try out more of the other guys. It's totally, and this is exactly what Darko said at the same time. He's like, well, why didn't you guys keep Ramsey? It's because we really value getting different looks at different players right now. And we're going to be cycling them in and out. Doesn't mean we didn't like them. It's just we want more chances to look at other guys too. He said that straight up. Randolph saying, Lex, watching our former players doing so well on other teams and what are we without them makes me wonder, was this the plan of the U.S. and NBA all along? Yes. Bust up that team good. Bust it up real good. They were upset that we won, and they were like, dismantle the Raptors as immediately as possible. And Masai and Bobby and Nick and everybody fought it off for the longest time, but some of them succumbed to it, like Nick Nurse did. And then, guys like Kyle, At some point, you got to make a decision with a person like Kyle Lowry and like the big financial decision that Miami decided to invest in him. Well, we didn't want to do that at that time. It was smart. I don't second guess anything we've done. In some ways, the things that we had to do because of the pandemic in Tampa were necessary. I don't second guess the gamble of trying to get in the Giannis sweepstakes. That may have been an error, but that's our GM trying to make things open to possibilities. Well, in some ways, they've steered the ship, and we've managed to get Scotty Barnes, and we're in a lot of good positions considering the way that their management style has done things. Things could be way, way worse. And I think the casual Raptors fans don't understand that we've done really well considering our ship has been under attack. And yeah, people have been trade rumoring Pascal and OG for 3 years now, and it finally happened. But it needed to happen now at the right time. In some ways, we did it on our own schedule, and we did it the way we wanted to, but it didn't work out. If it's Nick's fault for sabotaging our team last year, and then this Vision 6-9 just did not pan out, well, so be it. We go back to the drawing board and we start over. And that's what we're doing right now. So, yeah, it's a weird situation. I love the success of our other guys, but yeah, there were a lot of fans and other teams that wanted to see Fred VanVleet not in a Raptors jersey anymore. A lot of fans and other teams did not want to see OG or Pascal in Raptors jerseys anymore. And in some ways, they celebrated that. Just like I celebrated when Marcus Smart, Grant Williams left the Celtics. Seriously, there was a little bit of that going on with our seeing our guys leave. It's like, oh, thank God. I hated playing the Raptors and Fred VanVleet. He was so annoying. There's a lot of that. David's saying, did our positivity lead with Fred, Pascal, and OG? No, I'm being very positive. Why do you think I'm not being positive, David? I love this team. I'm rooting for them. I'm standing with them, and I'm going forward. Just because I don't like one individual player on our team doesn't mean that I'm against our team. I was against Justin Champagnie in the past too. And I could talk openly about being critical of him. I've been openly critical of Malachi Flynn at many times too. This is part of my job on this channel is I don't have to just kiss the ass of all the Raptors and like all of them. I was hard on Abaji when he first showed up, but he's won me over. That's the difference. These players can win me over very easily with certain things. And Abaji, I was like, I'm not really big on Abaji. I don't really like him when he showed up. I'm like, I don't get him. But when he showed his game more, I was like, yeah, I have respect for him and I really like him more and more. That's what I'm saying. If I don't respect their game, well, I don't respect their game. And unfortunately, Freeman Liberty's game is a game I don't respect. And there's a lot of reasons why. And I've said them over and over again. I've said them over and over again. Let's see. Mike saying, Fiercey, yeah, last night even Curry was tired of Draymond's BS. It's definitely gotten to the point from no real consequences to Draymond. Well, they need to give him consequences. If he didn't listen to consequences earlier this year of punching Nurkic in the face, well, he needs to have ramifications. Maybe they need to suspend him for the whole season next year just to give him a good message. And maybe it'll work out real well for you, NBA, with your stupid ass wanting to broadcast him. Maybe you say you're suspended, and your suspension includes you are being punished by being in our broadcast and being in the booth with everybody all the time. And that's the thing I don't like about this, is that they want him to be a broadcasting person for them in the future, but he's absolutely not a good person for that, honestly. He really isn't. That's how I feel about it. Most saying Chris Boucher's Instagram story, though, laughing my ass off. Yeah, I don't think it's a diss on Scotty. Maybe that they had these nicknames while they were playing together. That like OG's Mario and Chris is Luigi and Scotty was Toad. I wonder who's the princess or Bowser or Shy Guy or Bullet Bill. Let's just name all the Raptors after Super Mario Brothers characters. It's so crazy. G saying Fiercely for sure. That was pure disappointment from Curry. I haven't seen the clip, but yeah, Steph is, man, I like Steph a lot. Steph Curry is a really class act kind of guy in this league. And yeah, I'm glad that he's finally kind of not condoning Draymond's antics. Let's see. Nameless is giving me a 10:35-minute countdown. All right, I'm already over 12. It's all good. Non parlez puis, non parlez puis. Okay. Smooth saying DeMar would be ideal with New York, man. They're all into Donovan Mitchell, but DD is perfect for them. That'd be weird. I don't know if I'd like seeing DeMar on the Knicks, but if he's back with OG, that'd be kind of fun. I don't know. That's a weird fit. I do want DeMar to leave the Bulls this summer. I feel like everything that they've done there in some ways has been just spinning his wheels in his career, and he needs to go somewhere else where he has a real chance to try and win a championship. and the Bulls have been wasting his time. In some ways, I do want DeMar to win a championship before he retires. And I don't know if I want him to win it in New York, though. In some ways, I want him to land in a place that's maybe a small market out in the West that just needs somebody just a little bit better to come and join them. I prefer that than him in the East still. David's saying, in alter parole state ziti stupidi. I don't know. I may have insulted myself. Wow, Italian is so aggressive when translated. Yeah, okay. Wayne's saying, Knicks played a G League team last night. No true analytical assessment can be made. Raptors freaks, don't memorize our squad currently, such as Mo, G, Simmons, Liberty Freeman, hardly worth watching. See, Wayne's like, I don't watch 905 like Lex does. And honestly, I don't want to watch it on the Raptors either. And I'm with you on that. In some ways, we don't want the level of play to be 905 G League level. And there was that last night. There definitely was that. And Wayne's exactly right. This is a reality check. This is not the real Raptors. This is not going to be the Raptors next season. Y'all can be looking at this team right now and say, oh, our bench is going to be so good next year. I wouldn't say that. In fact, once again, I'll say most of these guys are not going to be around our team next year. They're all trying out. It's just like Canada's Got Talent. There's a whole bunch of people going to get on that stage, but only a select few are going to get invited to the next round. And that's the same thing with this. That we've seen a lot of different players right now, Bruce Brown included, that are not going to be getting tried out and played next year, or they're going to find their way out of this somehow, some way. These guys come in, new players, better players from the draft, free agency. They take spots from these guys that should not be on the main roster. And this is exactly true. And I think Wayne named the guys right here that probably will be on the outside looking in. Even though I like Kobe Simmons, I would say this: his chances of making the Raptors next season are very slim. But if I'm choosing people, like I could rank the 905, and I probably will. There'll be a Sunday special report where I'm going to go over the 905 season. I have access to their statistics, and I have my star spreadsheet, and I'll give you all a report on how I felt the 905 did, who the best players for them were, who I feel like has a possibility to get an NBA career, and who I really kind of like how I felt about their seasons. And like I said, Omari Moore and Kobe Simmons are two players that I really do feel like are very close to NBA players. They're very, very close. G saying, James, who was the draft pick you brought up? Need to take a look myself, but I forgot the name. It's Kal-El something. I forget his last name. Gee, you can always scroll up in the chat and just find James's first comment. You'll see it in there. Nameless is saying it's David. It is David. It's a very authoritative language because it retains the most Latin. Yeah. Like Italian can be very commanding. I used to live in Little Italy here in Toronto. It was very interesting living in that neighborhood. I would walk down the street and I would hear people yelling at each other, but they were just commenting. They weren't mad at each other. They were just talking. They were on their front porch, and like there's an old woman and an old man, and the woman's in the garden, and the man's on the porch, and he's saying, and she's saying something back to him. I'm not trying to stereotype. This is just the damn truth. I lived in Little Italy, and I saw this on Palmerston Avenue, or just off of College and Bathurst. Yeah. I mean, it's cool. I love it. The energy. I love the passion. Let's just put it that way. I love it. It's all good. It's all good. David loves it too. He loves it too. Yeah. And Namus says, it sounds aggressive and powerful when spoken, especially because it's such an auditory language. An auditory language. Cool. Tom Duke saying, Kal-El Ware. That's right. Coco Beware's son. Kal-El. Yeah. It was his pick. That's right. 100% Alex approved. Yeah. Yeah. See, I can look at a guy like him blind and say, this is actually a really good prospect. For sure. Nice one, James. Yeah, I agree, Tom. That was a nice one. Wrap your day, everyone. WWW's Lex. Thank you for putting the big dubs in the chat, Tom Duke, like a Scotty Barnes Twitch family would do. Big dubs in the chat. I miss that. I miss those big dubs, Tommy. Yeah, G is saying thanks to Tom. I hope Scotty returns to Twitch this summer. We'll have to see. Mike saying, with most of the teams trying at the moment, tanking is way easier at this point. We're lucky. In previous years, it would have taken way more losses to get close to 6th pick. Yeah. I think that's a good way of looking at it. You're looking at it the optimistic way. In some ways, I could look at it as a pessimistic way. Well, this league has just gotten extremely harder. And that's kind of true. This league has gotten way more competitive, and there's way more going on with different things around the league as far as why teams try and do stuff and what they're doing. So I'm all about that. And it's just the way they've changed it. And the play-in tournament is a big part of it. Fiercely saying, my friend went to a meet and greet with Masai before Monday's game, and Masai said it's a full-on rebuild and it will take some years considering we had great success for the last 10 years. He said he was also excited to build around 20-year-old All-Star Scotty. This is the kind of stuff I love to get from you guys. Fiercely's getting inside a knowledge about the Raptors from a friend that went to a special private event with Masai Ujiri. And Masai Ujiri said this rebuild's going to take a little longer than people think, and it's going to take patience. I don't know. I still think that it's not that I want to fast track, but I feel like we're going to have more success than people think. And Jack and Alvin have said this on broadcast that they can see this team being a playoff team next year if healthy and we make a couple of big moves this summer. So I agree with them. I think that in some ways the worst is right now, and hopefully we have good luck, good health, and good things happen, good acquisitions, and things are a lot more smoother next year. And some of you got to wonder the balancing out of everything. If there's bad luck and bad things happening to the team, well, shouldn't there be some good luck coming towards them also at some point? I would hope, in the balance of the yin and the yang of the universe. Just get all this bad stuff out of the way, and hopefully the good stuff's coming next year is what I'm hoping. I feel like we've had bad stuff for like 4 years now, though. Really, since like the pandemic started, has been bad, like stuff around the team, whether it's Tampa, relocation, Nick Nurse's subterfuge. These are all been bad things for the Raptors and have held us back and hurt us in a bad way. But we're surviving. We're Gloria Gaynor. We are surviving. That's right. I love that information, Fiercely. I'm going to give you a 3-pointer for sharing that story because that kind of stuff is gold. I love that you have insider knowledge from there. You got 64. Nintendo 64 is what Fiercely Salcero's got, a Nintendo 64. Let's see. Carlos saying Kawhi was such a monster last night. He was off all game and then turned it on at the last minute. He's a winner. And that's why if he's healthy and they're going in the playoffs, the Clippers have a good chance. Kawhi is still Kawhi. He is still a top-level player in this league that is impossible to stop. And he's a two-way player, so he can make a difference on both ends. The people that will mess them up are people like Russell and James because of, James Harden's playoff career and stuff like that. But, this is a funny thing about last night and the Clippers playing the Sixers last night in Philadelphia. James Harden does not understand why the Philly fans booed him last night. He has no idea why they booed him. They booed the hell out of him last night, and rightfully so. But I think it's kind of hilarious that James Harden was like, why are they booing me? I don't even understand it. This goes to show just how insular these guys' egos can be, and they just don't understand the real world. They just don't understand their actions and how they are viewed by people, and how they're not really like good judges of where their status is or the public sees them. Draymond Green, James Harden, y'all are out of touch with reality because your ego does not allow you to see the reality of the truth. And James, you're going to get booed in Brooklyn and Philly for the rest of your life because you are just that kind of guy. And you think that you were just perfect and everybody should love you for what you did there? No. I get why Sixers Nation booed you last night and you don't. Well, that just shows your ignorance and you have a huge blind spot because of your ego. Yeah. He probably doesn't have anybody telling him anything that he doesn't want to hear. That's right. He probably has all yes men around him that just feed his ego. So he has no idea the reality of how he's perceived. And that's the problem right there. Yeah. G saying, I was just thinking, Kelly is perfect for this team. He was with Team Canada through their struggles to this point with their success. Kelly's awesome. There's so many benefits of having Kelly Olynyk on our team. Is absolutely a great acquisition. In fact, we were saying it before it happened. I would love to have Kelly Olynyk on this team, and boom goes the dynamite. There he is. I would love to have Emmanuel Quickley on this team. Boom goes the dynamite. There he is. Would it be weird if we had RJ Barrett on our team all of a sudden? Boom goes the dynamite. There he is. I don't know. Front office, you're watching me. I love you guys. And keep on keeping on. And hey, take my advice as much as you want. Seriously. Let's see. Chris is saying you ought to know you got yesterday's right. And yes, the lake is Giga Goom is the native name. Did I get the lake right? I did get the lake right. It is Lake Superior. I figure if there's going to be a lake, it'll be the biggest lake. It's like, if there's going to be a lake, it'll be Lake Superior. So I just guessed that. So I did get the lake right, but I didn't name the lake right. It's Gikagum. Gikagum is the native name. That's fantastic, Chris. Very informative. You ought to know I did get that right yesterday. And I did get the lake right. Oh, awesome. Winning, Lex. Winning. All right. I get dunks if I get it right. So I get one dunk for getting Lake Superior right. If I'm not right, I'm wrong. All right. I got Christian Coloco 35 now. Yeah, 35. Christian Coloco. That's right. Yeah, I love it. Love it. Thank you for giving me the answer. I want to know. G saying, Michael Porter Jr. vouched for Jonte, saying, I doubt he would do anything to put his playing basketball career in jeopardy. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Of course, you're going to say that. He's your brother. You want your family to have more wealth. You're trying to salvage this career in this situation. It just looks really bad. Porter family, I'm more and more like sad about you guys. I've heard about some of the things that Michael Porter Jr. said. Like he has really dumb comments about coronavirus, about vaccines, about George Floyd that he said in the past. He's an idiot. In some ways, Michael Porter's dumbass tweets from before make me think the Porter family is a bunch of dumbasses. No offense, Tom Porter family friend, but your Porter family is not my favorite family at this point. Let's just put it that way. James is saying, gee, I just seen this. Kel L. Ware. Yeah, that guy's good from Krypton, the planet Krypton, just like Superman. Just don't get any green kryptonite around him, and then he's no good. Wayne saying, Lex, try not to mention McDaniels in your stream. He sends it into the gutter with his total negative usefulness. Jeez, Wayne's really a hater of McDaniels. See, we all have our favorites and our non-favorites. All right, I'll take that into consideration. Maybe I won't talk about him ever again. We'll see. Most saying Gary frustrated me last night for some reason. I don't know. I think it was his shooting. 9 games left. Happy birthday, Jim Sand. Was it Jim Sand's birthday yesterday? Man, why am I missing out on this? I should have Jim Sand's birthday, but I don't think he has a Wikipedia page. That's why. How would I know what Jim Sand's birthday is? I couldn't find it. In some ways, some of these guys are not putting their birthdays out there. Like they hide them. Like Matt Devlin's hidden his birthday. I have no idea when Matt Devlin's birthday is, although he had it recently. I should remember that. Okay, where's Jim Sand's birthday? I can't find it. I must have just said it somewhere, and that's why you know. Because honestly, it's not listed on the internet anywhere, Monique. So if they said happy birthday to Jim Sand, that's because they knew it from the inside. I would have added him to the list. So you're saying his birthday was yesterday? Yesterday is Jim Sand's birthday. So his birthday is the 27th. All right, I'm going to put him on the spreadsheet. I don't know what year he's born in, but we'll definitely put him on the spreadsheet and add him to everything. All right, Jim Sand is March 27th. Same birthday as Ed Pickney. All right, I'll just write him in. Y'all bear with me real quick so I don't forget to do this. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I did not know that Jim Sand actually... All right, that's his birthday. Boom. We're going to put that down right there. I don't know what year he was born, but we'll have it for next year, so I'll know to say it next year. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying this fan base can't sit through a full rebuild. Won't happen. Well, they're going to have to, whether they like it or not. Stabby saying, Raptor Freak, how do you keep such high energy with the team being so bad? Do you do this all off season? Yeah, I don't take a day off. I have a consecutive day streak. I've done a stream for almost 1,000 days in a row. That's almost 3 years. When we get to September, it'll be 3 years in a row. I've done a stream every single day. In some ways, it's just a beat I do in my day. And I just do what I do. In some ways, I'm a very wise person as far as to deal with emotions. I've gone through a lot of heartache and sadness and tragedy in my life. I've had a lot of fucked up things happen to me. So in some ways, I've gone wiser through my experience. And I understand that suffering is optional. In some ways, suffering about the Raptors losing right now is an option I don't want to take. So I'm just going to take it as this. You know, you guys are just what you are, and I'm going to detach my emotions from it. And I know that there's a bright future in the future, and that's enough to keep me going in the right way. I'm not going to get out down in the dumps in weird ways and stuff like that. In some ways, the people that rise up and stay positive in the dire situations are the ones who get the spoils in the end. So that's part of what we need to do right now. Some people could get depressed and get all pissed off and upset. Maybe they say, I never want to be a Raptors fan ever again. That's not the right way to be. And that's part of it, Stabby. So yeah, every single day for the rest of as long as I'm living, actually, you can expect me to do a live stream in the morning. And I've said I will be doing this in like 2050. I don't care. I'm crazy. And I really love this team a lot. And I want to try and shape the fan nation as much as I can. If I'm an entity out there that people know about and a resource, I can help in that way. And that really is my main mission goal, is to make a more positive, less toxic Raptors fan nation that really is truly behind their team and not like being little shitheads on social media making dumbass comments. So it's part of it right there. Yeah, it's part of it right there. Stabby, respect. And I appreciate you being here a lot this week. You know, you did really well with the score prediction. You got third last night, Stabby, just so you know. You got the third best score. So you know what? I'm going to give you a dunk for recognizing my work, because honestly, it isn't always easy, and sometimes the games are really bad, and it is really kind of hard to be here. You know what? You've only got one dunk. I'm going to give you a 3-pointer. You got a Scotty Barnes 4, my guy. You have the 4, just like Scotty Barnes' jersey. Just right there. Yeah. Fiercely saying, sorry, Lex, I was not precise in my statement. I'm in off season in the sense I'm eagerly waiting to see the changes. It's exciting time, staying positive in Messiah trust. Well, if you want to be in off season mode, that's fine. It's like Nick Nurse last year. He went into off season mode right around this time. Fuck face. Yeah, it's just like that. Nick Nurse sabotaging our season and going to off season mode about a year ago right now. Fuck face, Nick Nurse. Oh my gosh. You get that loss last night. You deserve it, Nick, for being the Vince Carter, not trying coach of the Raptors last year. Yeah, Fiercely saying also at Smooth. Agreed. Yet they beg to have Fred, OG, and Pascal to be let go. The amount of times I heard and read blow it up, bipolar fan base. Well, once again, I will say everybody who's in our fan base is not in our fan base. Some of them are fake. Some of them are people from other places just trying to influence things from the inside. So I would say this: it's not about what people. It's not whether they say they are a Raptors fan or they identify as one in their handle or anything like that. It's their behavior that will tell you exactly whether they're a Raptors fan or not. In some ways, a fan acts a certain way. A fan is somebody who's supportive and positive towards their team. A fan is not like that. Negative ninny kind of tear it down and being all upset and pessimistic all the time. That's the difference. Some of them are trolls. Some of them are little shits. Some of them are uneducated casuals. Now, a fan is somebody who will stand by their team no matter what. So you judge every individual on their behavior, just like in life. You don't judge people by the color of skin. You judge people by their character. And this is the same way on social media spaces. They can be like Scotty Lover number 100. And if they're talking shit about Scotty and they're saying things that don't line up with being a Raptors fan, they're not a Raptors fan, even if they're identified as one on social media with their handle. So I would just say that there's so many fakes and stupid ass, crazy ass trolls and weird shit out there right now. Don't trust anything but what you see they do and what they say. And that's the way to look at it at this point. Yeah, it's not even a bipolar fan base. It's an infiltrated fan base. And all the fan bases are like this. We've got people from our fan base infiltrating Sixers and Celtics fan base and making it murky and confusing there too. So it's going all every which way. And it's just the new terrain of social media and the way it is. Country Kong's here. Good to see JP. One of the playoff teams in the playoffs. The playoffs are going really interesting and well right now for the Raptor Freak Yahoo Fantasy League. Right now, currently, Peter Saborin has got a lead on me, but I fucked up last night, and I benched Keldon Johnson, should have been benched. I benched Kelly Oubre, and he had a great game in that game against the Clippers last night, and I missed out on 24 points. If I had gotten those 24 points, I'd be ahead of Peter this morning, but I'm not. Alas, I'm behind by 13 points instead of being ahead by 9 points, which really pisses me off, or actually 11 points. In the other matchups, Duke Rocks has a tenuous 1-point lead over MK right now. Dick Picks is leading his matchup, and Raymond Jacob is not leading David anymore. David is ahead by 19 at this point as of this morning. So yeah, good job, Country Kong. Get your lead and get your win and get to the second round is what I'm saying. He's saying, Lex, some of the threes Grady hit last night were ridiculous. The one he shot over DiVincenzo was audacious, to say the least. It must be hard deciding when to shoot. At 6'8", he must always feel open. It's interesting. He's like biting at the chomp, I noticed. There's a play action that he does with Kelly, where Kelly's at the top of the key and he holds the ball, and they do a fake run around where Grady runs around Kelly, and it looks like he's going to pass it off, but he holds it, and then he looks for the next person. It's almost like Grady's being used as a diversion, but in some ways, Grady's acting like he wants the ball because he is open when he comes around the screen, but Kelly's ignoring him. Have you noticed what I'm saying, Country Kong? It's annoying, but I know the method of the madness to Kelly is, in some ways, he's teaching Grady on the down low that you're not going to get the ball every time that you're open. And sometimes he's sacrificing that open pass to Kelly, from Kelly to Grady at that time, for a cut towards the basket that's closer by Bruce Brown or O'Shea Abaji or something like that. It's interesting. The interplay between Kelly and Grady is really special. There's already a really good synergy between them that's really, really special. And it will develop more in the time together as time goes on. But there's already a good chemistry between Kelly and Grady. And a lot of it is Kelly setting up Grady. But he's not looking for him every time. He could have fed Grady way more last night. He was patient, and he didn't give him the ball right away. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, I like everything I'm seeing out there. The audaciousness. Yeah, I love it. That's a good word for it, Country Con. G saying they just posted the top 5 NAL earners and the top 3 are women. Rob Dillingham is 5th. Will you go, ladies? And who says women aren't profitable or making money for anything? Look at that. I love this. This is a fantastic piece of news, G. I'm gonna give you a dunk for it. And I'm not surprised by this because I know who's at number 1 on the list. It's a young lady named Clark is who it is. That's right. I know that's who's at the top of the list. And I'm sure that some of those LSU Tigers are on that list also. I'll bet you money they are. I'll bet you the money that they're making they are. Yeah, yeah. There's going to be something I want to talk about this subject tomorrow on the Friday Freak Out. Yeah, I'm going to be freaking out about the NIL a little bit tomorrow. You're going to see what's up. You're going to see what's up. Yeah. Name is saying Jays always do just enough to stay irrelevant. Well, I'm hoping something will happen this year. Anyway, in some ways, I can't be the Jays freak and the Raptors freak. It's too much energy and it'd be too taxing. In some ways, I love baseball. I do love the Blue Jays. They are my team, but I really don't pay close attention to them at all. In fact, I won't watch them this year. But if they won another World Series, I'd be overjoyed. I'd be absolutely overjoyed. Fiercely saying at Stabby, great question for Lex. In my mind, that's how you see who the real ones are, riding with the team no matter how they're doing and leading followers in a positive way. This is really why I created this channel, because I felt like we needed more leadership around Raptors fan nations like Monique Lawrence and a lot of you guys to be more positive fans, to be real fans, because there's a lot of people that call themselves Raptors fans, but they're really sellouts. They're really like Benedict Arnolds. They're really the kind of people that I'm a conditional fan. If you're winning, I will root for you and I'll be there for you. I'll go to the games. But if you're not winning, I'm ignoring you and I'm going to make fun of you even. I'm going to even put you down. I'm going to try and make a comedy routine out of how bad the Raptors are, even though supposedly I'm a Raptors fan. Oh, I'm going to make up little jokes and be a snarky little shit. That's the phenomenon I've noticed with some of the casual Raptor fans that are actually not real fans. It's like they're conditional fans. And the condition is they have to be winning for them to be respectful towards them. Otherwise, if they aren't, well, they're disrespecting the Raptors. And that's a big problem. Fiercely saying, thank you, Lex, and the Raptor Freaks for respectful exchanges, spreading light, and dimming dark times. Yeah, well, we're going to be who we're going to be. We've gone through such dark times at different times, and we've done a really good job of keeping it together, being a good support group. There were times where I'd be depressed, and y'all helped me, and vice versa. And that's part of the reason why the RFF is the right thing. Nameless is saying Woj is such a damn sellout. It's exactly right. He's compromised. Any of his opinions on gambling in sports are absolutely compromised because he is being paid by those companies that make that money. And him trying to say, oh, the gambling's always been, he's trying to legitimize the stake that gambling should be here because he's hearing the noise that people are saying, yeah, we should just get rid of it. Let's just ban it again, which is absolutely the right choice. But if there's people making money off of it already, like Woj, they're going to try and protect it, even though they know it's probably not the right thing deep down. But they're greedy and they're only selfish for themselves. So fuck you, Woj. You're compromised. In some ways, I'm going to look at you like Shams, very much like I should very much take in doubt half the things you say because you may be saying them for your own gain. And I hate that. In some ways, Jonte Porter is a pawn in this whole scheme of things. In some ways, he may be guilty and he may have done something very wrong, but he is also a pawn in this whole thing. MSJ saying, of course, Woj is compromised. The thing to do is ignore them. What does Woj actually have to do with playing basketball? Nothing. Laugh out loud. Same with Doug Smith. They understand, Lex. They don't care. Well, I would say writers like Doug Smith do care in some ways. I mean, those level people are very anti-betting in the sport. There's a lot of people that are in journalists that are saying that they don't like it and they can see the problems that are coming up. And Warren Weisfeld, very detrimental towards being against, the betting in sports and saying this is just going to get worse and worse. There's a lot of people on Twitter because of the Jonte thing coming out and said, this is just the beginning. Can we stop now? Can we just turn around and go back the other way right now? And the people that are going to be like trying to make excuses for why the gambling's good, well, they're compromised. And when they say that, see them for who they are on the take. And that's what Woj is right now. Yeah, Doug Smith cares because he's anti-gambling. He's been very vocal in what he's saying in his job for the Toronto Star, anti-gambling. And a lot of the Toronto reporters are like this already. Some of the knuckleheads are not, like Aaron Rose or whatever the fuck face. And Lascarius, he's an idiot too. He's a fuck face too. He put out some bad articles this week about Jonte already. Adam Lascarius or whatever the fuck dumbass jabroni's name is. Fuck face. Yeah. Chris is saying Woj didn't sell out. He was never real to start with. No, I'm disagree with that too, because I know the history of Woj. Woj in the beginning was just an insider. He was just like an average reporter, but he got more and more power through connections, and he really gamed that system. At some point, he was corrupted and compromised, but in the beginning, he was an earnest journalist that actually would just come with facts and really good things. In some ways, he's still credible, but in some ways, also, we do need to realize this aspect of who he's paying, who's paying him. So I'll disagree with this. He was not always a sellout. He was a very, very viable, good source of information for a long, long time, and he still is to a degree. It's just we got to realize he's compromised because he is involved in the betting industry in the NBA at this point. Let's see. Nameless is saying, I argue the contrary, Lex, that they do understand the issue people face with gambling addiction, and they're using that against us. I don't want to believe that people are inherently evil. But this is probably true. There's inherently evil things happening over in the conflict in Gaza right now, where children are starving, and children on the other side are standing in front of trucks, laughing and smiling about starving babies. Yeah, there's something inherently evil with that. You know, I want to say a take right now that may piss some people off, but I'm going to say it in all honesty and truth. A lot of people are worried about anti-Semitism right now on the increase in this world. Well, I won't disagree. It is on the rise, but there's very valid reasons why. When one country sports a religious symbol on their flag and they are killing people and genociding people, well, that doesn't make that religion look very good. And I mean, what do you expect? If you're going to do shit like what you do in Israel, and I'm not even going to say Jewish people, I'm not going to say, because we know Amit's against the war and he lives in Israel. I'll say it, Netanyahu. If you support Netanyahu, if you stand with Israel and what they're doing, you're a fuckface and you're a piece of shit. And history is not going to be kind to you. Now, you can call me being an anti-Semite for saying that, but that's not what this is. This is me being against genocide and starving children and what is going on right now around the world right now from us. So sure, go ahead and call me an anti-Semite. If you want to use that term, go ahead. I'm anti what you're doing is cruel and fucked up. And it's a crime against humanity. And I may not be a Palestinian person. I may not have any kind of religion that I identify with, whether it's Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. I feel like what you're doing right now is a crime against everybody. And we're all directly going to get hurt by this. That it's a crime against humanity. And I'm not for it. And in some ways, what y'all are doing over there is going to be looked at in the huge future as being one of the most fucked up things that ever happened. And listen, two wrongs don't make a right. The Holocaust was not right. And I am anti-Nazi, but I'm anti-Zionist also. And Zionists are just like Nazis at this point to me. So you want to call me an anti-Semite? Well, you've run that flag around when you're killing babies and starving them out. Well, okay, go ahead. I'll wear that suit, even if you think it's so wrong. But I don't hate Jewish people. I like a lot of Jewish people. But in some ways, y'all are making them look bad around the world. If you want to say there's more anti-Semitism in this world, well, it's because the flag is run around with that symbol on it, and it makes them look bad. It's really bad publicity. And people that don't really like have a side, I don't really care either side. I'm not for Islam. I'm not for Judaism. I'm against genocide and starving babies and the ugly ass shit going there. So you go ahead. Wonder why anti-Semitism's on the rise is because you got a flag with the Judea system symbol on there. This advertising fucking a killing machine, a very evil, dark, awful thing. You can be anti-Netanyahu, sure, I'm with you. If you're pro-Netanyahu, if you're pro-Israel, fuck you. Go to fucking hell is what I would say to you right now. If you're pro-Putin and you're pro what's happening in Russia and jailing people for free speech, fuck you too. Seriously, it's not like, the PR y'all are doing for yourselves is what is damaging things. It's not like I'm for Palestine. I am, though, because I'm for humanity and people being able to live. But yeah, if you're going to be telling me I'm for Israel, I'm for Netanyahu. Well, you're a fucker and you're a piece of shit and you can go to hell is what I'm going to say to you right now. Every single person who's supporting Israel right now, go to fucking hell is what I'm going to say right now. And you can call me an anti-Semite. That's not what it is. I just delineated it for you. Now, if you're wondering why people are hating Jewish people more, well, it's because that flag has got the fucking Star of David on it, and they're fucking killing babies in the name of it. So why the fuck do you think people are becoming more anti-Semite? Because you're fucking killing people. and it's fucking absolutely horrible nightmare and tragedy and fucking was totally preventable. And you guys are fucking barbaric animals and you're fuckface, Netanyahu. You're fucking, you are evil personified, you fuckface Benjamin Netanyahu. And anybody who's flying Israel support right now, you're guilty as charged too. You're just as fucking bad as Netanyahu and the people that are actually doing the shit to those people over there right now. And that take may piss people off. But if you want to wonder why anti-Semitism's up, well, the fucking symbol's on the flag that's holocausting people right now. And yeah, I did use that term right now because it's the same fucking action. And two wrongs don't make a right, especially when the people that are being subjugated right now had nothing to do with the first wrong in the first place. Mic drop. All right, there. I went on a tangent for a second, but I had a burning desire to make that example and opinion out there. You don't want anti-Semitism? Stop fucking killing Palestinians. All right, let me get back on track. I was going to say that rant at some point, but that was the moment that I had to take it right there. And if I piss people off, if you think I'm an anti-Semite, okay, I'll wear that at this point. I'm not worried about labels. I'm worried about people dying. That's what I'm worried about. You want to fucking call me an anti-Semite? You go fucking right ahead. You go right fucking ahead. There you go. There you go. You see, Nameless brought up evil is what it is. People that intentionally do shit evil just to profit at the detriment of other people. Yeah, that's why I said that. That's why I said that. Nameless saying, you said Woj doesn't understand. Correction, he understands quite well. Yeah. Well, if I said that, I used the wrong choice of words. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He's an evil little shit. Nameless saying he's just demonstrating how unscrupulous he is. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I can see through it. I think that the damage control he's trying to do for the betting companies is really kind of gross. And that's the problem right there. David, thank you once again for the super chat. Mike saying, David, keeping the hope alive. And David's saying, we always have hope. It's just fucking hard to see sometimes. I have hope for next year. And that's the thing that matters. Chris, thanks for the $5 super chat also. I just seen that one there. Chris is saying, so Elite Roma BC just released power forward Vito Vagino, good vet to pair with Grady. Now, I know what you're trying to do there. Seriously, if Abaji is hurt for the rest of the year, laugh out loud. Talk to you later, people. Yeah, he's trying to make a cheap joke about pairing Dick with Vagino. Yeah. Okay, Chris. I'm not going to go look at this guy on YouTube. All right, let's see. All right, let's go. All right, Mo's saying, keep up the great streams. Good days are approaching. Thank you, Mo. And Nameless is dropping the money bag on me. Yeah, I'm not selling out to that money, y'all. I'm sorry. G saying, David, Chris, and Lionhunter, good stuff. I appreciate y'all's support. Seriously. In some ways, I'm not looking at how much I'm making on this channel. It is appreciated. It does go to my bank account and it does help with things, but I'm not relying on it. And also, in some ways, it's not totally necessary. I'm not totally comfortable with getting money through this channel. But if you guys wanted a way to thank me, I appreciate it. But that's not what my goal is, to make money on here. I have no model of profit on this. This is just purely if you guys want to thank me in that kind of way and you feel like that's a good way to do it. I appreciate David's help with that. But in some ways, it's not totally necessary. But I do appreciate it because it does show that, hey, I have some value in some ways in that world that I don't really value. I don't give a shit about monetary value at this point. I only give a shit about doing what I do and my passion. But if you guys want to compensate me for it, that's great. I'm not going to be upset, but it's not necessary in any way. But I am very, very deeply thankful to you guys for doing that. Seriously. Mike saying to the whole Raptor Freak family, big ups, respect. That's what it is. Mike used to say, big up, respect. That's right. Seymour saying, who won the score guessing challenge? Okay, this was the top 5. It was Tom Duke who won last night. He got the best score. Chris got second. Stavi got third. Trevor J got fourth. And David got fifth. Seymour, you were second to last. Second to last. Carlo only did worse than you. Yeah. Seymour saying Grady was the star of the game. Is Abaji okay? That was a scary fall. X-rays negative right after the game, so that portends for good. The fact that he was not carted out of there on his back on a board, that's really good. That he was walking and that it's more a hip-related injury to his leg and not a spinal column injury, which is what it initially looked like last night. Thank God it isn't. David saying, do you guys think Kelly has been playing well? I like the guy, but it seems like he has had a hard time catching the ball, dribbling, etc. I mean, it's kind of been a meme with him, no? This is funny because, David, in some ways I see what you're trying to describe, and I agree. He's not totally a clean player. In some ways, he is like kind of a crazy player. He's not very athletic as part of the problem. And he cuts corners and he makes things happen in certain ways. In some ways, he has to overcome his unathleticism. And that's part of what you're seeing out there, David. Now, the thing is that Kelly's really savvy and smart player. He can cover it up in certain ways. I give him full leash. In fact, we have no other options right now. Now, next year, when we're trying to play a higher level quality of basketball, Kelly's kind of stuff like that will be very much not wanting to happen too much. If he's a backup center and he can come out and play more perfect basketball within his role, where he's not trying to do so much on the court like he's had to recently because of our injuries, it'll look different. But for right now, with him having a huge expanded role of doing everything for us right now, yeah, he's going to look ugly. He's going to look a little clumsy. He's going to look a little weird. But next year, when Yak is the starting center and Kelly's coming off the bench, he'll clean it up and he'll have more quality in his minutes with less mistakes. Just trust me on that. Fiercely saying, David, there's a couple of things I appreciate about Kelly. His passing abilities, his persistent when driving, and his flopping skills. Yeah. I'm with you on all that. David's saying that's true. He passes well. Some plays look so awkward. It makes me wonder. Well, David, what I just said hopefully will assuage your fears in any kind of way. So, and I think exactly what I said is exactly right. Randolph saying, Lex, at this point, any win against us is like the Lakers championship in the bubble. All our stars are out of the game. No, I agree. We're being realistic. We don't have a really good chance in the fights we're coming up with. I mean, even with the Sixers without Embiid on Sunday, that's Nick Nurse. He's a very certain kind of competitor, and I know he's going to want to kill us on our own court. In fact, I fully expect him to run the score up just like the Knicks did in the game last night when we play the Sixers on Sunday. That there's going to be no mercy, and he's going to come in, he's going to try and embarrass us. Watch. I'm telling you, in some ways, we want to match them and beat them to a degree so that it's not so bad. If we can lose by less than 20 to the Sixers on Sunday, I'll call that a victory. Now, if RJ and Emmanuel show up and they're able to play for Sunday, that'll really help us a lot. That'll really, really help us a lot. Seymour saying our only star was Grady. No other players showed up. Big ups to Temple, too. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I did that. I did Grady Dick, Precious Achua, and Garrett Temple as my 3 stars. Because I felt like they were the ones who went above and beyond for what they did, whether even Precious on his side of things. Smooth saying, outside of Grady, do any of these Raptors deserve roster spots next year? I think Wara deserves one. I do. I think Wara deserves to be on our team again next year. Of course, we saw the Nigerian connection between him and Precious before the game, palling around. They're very close friends, Jordan Wara and Precious Achua. So, I don't know. When some ways we'll have to see who the new people that are coming in the mix and whether they'll displace some of these guys out of the way. I mean, initially, I think that what you're saying is right. Grady, obviously, we're invested in him. And Jordan Wara is the next one, I would say, as far as things. Seymour saying, I like none of the possible free agents this offseason coming. So there's room for your G League players to grow. Whoever we pick is going to be crucial moving forward. The free agency list may not be the most accurate list about who is available for the summer. Things can happen really quick. Opportunities can arise because of disgruntledness. And that's what Masai said in the press conference this year, is that he's been an opportunist to be ready to pounce on possibilities with top-level players that have exclaimed that they're not happy in their current situation. So he's kind of being ready for that just in case. Now, we could say Antetokounmpo may be very high on that list of what I just described, that he may be wanting out of Milwaukee, depending on how Milwaukee does in the playoffs this year. And if they fail like they did last year, I think he's going to raise his hand and say, I'm out. And that I don't know if that's the right move at this point because of Scotty, like I said yesterday. But that's the thing. Even though the free agency may not look that good and the draft doesn't look good, well, let's trust in Bobby and Masai. We know they can make things happen where it seems like nothing is there. Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby. Yeah, make things happen. Yeah. Let's see. Trevor's saying we need 2 big men this offseason for sure. Yeah, I think size is very much something is a need. Other than drafting for talent with the hot top pick, draft for need, and that's size for sure. Seymour saying there is some players worth keeping and some got to go for sure. Rely on Masai, exactly. Cool Cat saying Pascal, OG, Fred have deep ties as well to Toronto and Raptors, just like previous players in the past. It's hard to let go of our favorite players. I've come to terms with the turnover, no player for life. Yeah, Cool Cat very much is detached emotionally, more robotic, more Kawhi-like, and just has to be that way at this point. Harriet's here. Good to see Harriet. Always good to see you jump in and say hi, Harriet. Infamous is saying salute, freaks. Something I haven't heard anyone mention. Will the NBA consider penalizing the team over Jonte if found guilty by taking a draft pick? No, we went over this very extensively, Infamous, on the day after this came out. Why does this make any sense? Why would they punish the Raptors? Like, seriously, unless there's something weird like an official was putting him up to it. Yeah, that's not going to happen. The coach is in. Now, one thing that Woj said in his little thing that I was talking about earlier is he said some of the things are going to determine whether Jonte is guilty or not is whether he took himself out of the game or the Raptors did. That could be part of the problem right there. Like, and we know already the answer because Darko answered it after the press conference, whether he meant to or not. He said basically that Jonte asked him to take him out of the game, that it wasn't the decision of Darko to take him out. And that's going to hurt Jonte. And that's why I think he's solely to blame and that he did do this shit is because that's the shady ass shit that he asked to come out. And he said, "Oh, my eye isn't so good, Darko. Take me out." And then Darko said in the press conferences, "I believe in my players when they say they're hurt, and I have to take them out." That's what he said. So the decision to come out of the game was Jonte's, and that makes him seem guilty. That makes him seem guilty. It is not Darko who said, "You can't play anymore. You're on a minutes restriction, Marquise Noel." No, he came to Darko early in the game and said, "I need to be pulled out of the game." That is very fishy, and that is probably going to be the thing that makes him guilty. And Darko already kind of incriminated him by accident by saying, "I don't take my players out when they ask me to take them out. I take them out. I believe them when they say that." So in some ways, Darko's already given the answer that he did not take Jonte out of those games, and Jonte took himself out of the games. And Woj said that distinction is going to be a big part in determining whether he's guilty or not. So he's probably guilty because he took himself out of the games. Darko already said that. So it's a big problem. Now, Infamous, don't be worried about them coming to try and take picks from us or mess with us. Once again, this is not tampering. This is not the front office of the Raptors doing shady shit with other people in ways they shouldn't by breaking the rules. This is an individual player that broke the rules himself. So the team should not be penalized. In fact, I said, Infamous, if the Raptors are penalized for this, well, then it's going to show that the league is biased against us because we are not responsible for Jonte's actions as an individual. He is responsible solely for his own. And that's the thing that's going to happen there. Cool Cat saying, "I foresee Scotty, Grady, and maybe RJ as our only long-term players. The others will be leveraged for better players over time." You don't want to include IQ? You don't? I mean, I like that group. I think IQ's in there too, though. Infamous saying it was expected loss just another team we can add to the list next year for a revenge tour. Next year we can call it the big payback. All right, James Brown, the big payback. That's a fact. I don't know karate, but I know crazy. All right, I'm gonna give you a dunk. You're at a Dennis Schroeder number 17 at this point, guy. Yeah, I like that. Let's make the tour next year the big payback. I'm all about it. I don't know if we'll be ready to pay people back next season, but we will over time in the next few years. Watch. Cool Cat is saying Gary will be looking to get paid. Consistency issues for that level of pay. Yeah. I don't want to pay him if he wants big pay. He's not consistent enough. David's saying about the jersey swap. Pronounce Achua. I chew dick. I chew a dick. Okay. I see. Is that why? No, I was thinking that they would want it was because they wanted to say precious dick. Chew a dick? Yeah, that's dumb. But I get it now. I see what that's maybe what they meant. Okay. All right. Good clarification. I didn't see that at first, David. Good clarification. All right, I got to figure this out. I'm almost done because I don't want to go too much past 1. That's an hour over my cutoff. Cool Cat saying Darko wants multi-skilled players. He's building a FIBA team. Yeah, I like that. Chua. Cool Cat saying Raptors need length. Can't compete with a lot of teams that are now lengthy. Teams are now building Vision 610 and up who are multi-skilled. Teams improved upon Raptor strategy. This is true. The league is a lot longer. The Magic are very long. The Pelicans are very long. The Knicks are very long. And we were very long. And we need to recapture some of that back. And that's why I want wingspan. I want guys who have longer arms. Long arm monsters still matter. And that's why, in some ways, I'm not going to be as keen as some players on some players that are playing right now because they don't have the long arms that I want for our team. Infamous saying, can't give up on your URL yet. Some of us were giving up on Grady, and look what happened. Trust the process. Are you saying JFL or URL? Who's URL? URL? Don't give up on the internet yet. The internet is still going to be big someday. Nameless is saying Scotty had the Indiana Jones vibe going on last night. What? Indiana Jones? I don't get that vibe from what he was wearing last night. I got like Bootsy Collins. I got Saturday Night Fever from him a little bit. Maybe a little bit like Staying Alive. Yeah, I got that more. Mo's saying no more comments. Thank you, Mo, for being the cutoff person. I appreciate that. Name was saying Project Truth always. Thank you. If it was saying happy to see Noel play again. Great comeback by the 905. No, this was awesome. In fact, Noel's after game interview was so special. He felt like triumphant. In some ways, he was very, very happy. In some ways, he's worried. He actually mentioned getting waived by the Raptors and how it made him sad, but he's okay with it now. And he understands everything happens the way it is. And he trusts God on his journey. And Marquise was jubilant about making his return. In some ways, it is true. When you're injured and you're worried about coming back, when you finally do come back and you get out on the court and it's a win too, that's an awesome thing. So Marquise was very victorious yesterday. This team won, and he came back successfully from his injury. He didn't like the minutes restriction, and in some ways, he could have played way more. I know he could have. So hopefully, he'll play a lot tomorrow and get that last little game. And I would like to see him get called up and play a little bit with the Raptors before the end of the season, if it is possible. Because seriously, I would like to see him get more of a look up there and get some more run, other than just a very, very little bit of one game that he got earlier this season. So yeah, let's see. David saying ATA Aliens is nuts. Yeah, that's definitely P-Funk inspired right there. P-Funk inspired. Let's see. Harriet saying shout out to Fred, Pascal, and OG. From what I've seen from Steady Spice, there are going to be problems for these other teams. By the way, it's Jamjos. I'm using someone else's phone. All right, Jamjos. What go on, man? Yeah, all right. Your friend Harriet account. All right, on Jamjos. All right. Well, always happy to see you, my guy. And we're proud of our former Raptors. Keep excelling. If we're not going to do something this year, I will root for you guys instead. I will definitely root for our former Raptors in the postseason this year. That's right. Fred was an undrafted, undersized guard. That's right. And Fred is a special case, like 1 out of 1,000 or maybe even more, 1,000,000. Seriously, Fred is such a special, unique case. And that's why people need to put more respect on him last year and his amazing journey as what he's become as an undrafted guard. The most successful undrafted player in the history of the NBA, honestly. The most successful undrafted player in the history of the NBA. He is the exception and not the rule. And you can't expect everybody to come up and just be the next guy. I wish Marquise Noel was going to be the next Fred VanVleet, but there's no guarantee of that. Fred VanVleet is that unique and that special. That is right. That's right. 12:06 cutoff. Blackhawk is here. Go Raps. Go Neil. Hope you're doing good. Monique saying, I have this Sand family on social media, so I know, Lex. I have followers everywhere. Okay, I know you've talked to Jim Sand's wife. You're friends with her. And you have insider knowledge. Of course, the superfan Monique Lawrence knows some insider Raptor stuff that not general public's going to know. So, yeah, I didn't know it was Jim's birthday yesterday. It wasn't on any of my social media or publicly out there by the Raptors. But you know, because you're friends with the Sand family. All right, Mo, you go. I'm going to give you a dunk for having that insider knowledge. She is an insider, a Raptors insider. She is for sure a Raptors insider. You got the Del Curry 30, Monique. You have a Del Curry 30 dunks. That's awesome. Trevor's saying Ice Cube offered Caitlin $5 million to join the Big Three. I love this. I love this. You go, Ice Cube. Get that Big Three publicity. She may be interested in this. That's amazing. That'd be really interesting to see her compete with men in the big league, Big Three. That'd be really interesting. I love that he did that, honestly. 12:46. All right. Fiercely saying, I don't know why I'm trying to add the regular emojis from the drop-down list, but can only see the chat emojis that Tom and others have. There's probably another option somewhere that you're just not seeing. I don't know, Fiercey. It'd be hard for me to see it without knowing your device and what you've got. So Mike's saying Lexathon was killer today. A lot of topics were talked on. Yeah. I appreciate that, Mike. You know, I'm developing as a streamer for sure. And I want to get better every single day I do this. And I feel like I do over time. There's little upgrades like a microphone all of a sudden or, you know, different things. And there will be more and more upgrades as time goes on. You know, the idea Jill had about Zoom, I'm thinking about it. It may very well be a future thing that I do in the future. And in some ways, somebody like Logical Raptors Fanatic would be perfect to have in a little box on the screen with me, doing the show with me. If I can get to that point, technologically and get the shit together for the stream. And you guys know, if you're regular contributors, you got to be ready and be on point. Because the way I run this show, you know how it is. I'm diligent. and I am very dependable. Well, if you're going to work with me on this show and you want to be a face in a box on the future Raptor Streak stream with Zoom boxes on it, you better be as dependable as I am, is what I'm going to say. So, Mike, you could be high on that list to be one of the faces in the box and the ever expanding Raptor Freak channel changes in the future. It's not going to be anytime soon, but I did like the idea, and I will explore it at some point when things aren't so hectic in my life, for sure. Fierce's got Respect and EPMD. Yeah, that's a good band. I like that. Fiercey saying, enjoy Survivor, Lex, and W Stream. Thank you, Fiercey. I appreciate that. And Race Mode saying, another great Lexathon. I appreciate you too, Edmund. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm right after one. I don't want to take too long. The Knicks kicked our ass. They gave us the worst loss at home ever in the history of the Raptors. It sucks. I hate this so much. We were eliminated from the postseason officially yesterday also. And we have our first 50-loss season in a long, long time. This is all awful and dreadful, but it is what it is. And as Jack said, it's always darkest before the dawn. And the dawn will be next season, and a healthy Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl returning to the Raptors lineup. My 3 stars of the game for the Raptors game were Grady Dick, Precious Achiuwa, and Garrett Temple. My 5 stars of the game for the 905 game, which was absolute delight. One of the best games of 905 this year. Very entertaining. So much fun to watch. Omari Moore, Makur, Jalen Delaire, Daryl Morsell, and Kevin O'Banner. My stars of the game for the 905 game. We now currently have a 74% chance of staying in 6 or higher in the finish for the end of the season. So we're in a good place. So we have a 3/4 chance of being 6 worse in the league. And that's good. That's a good thing at this point. Michael Porter Jr. coming to the defense of his brother Jonte, and Woj coming to the defense of the betting companies. Whatever. You guys have your selfish reasons for what you do. Check on your Yahoo fantasy teams and make sure you got your lineup set. I screwed up last night, and I hate it. It pisses me off. Yeah. Sounds good, bro. We'll see how it goes, Mike. But definitely you would be one of the guys, definitely a good expert, and definitely somebody being a cap expert. Definitely would want to put you in there probably. Country Kong saying Kelly needs to give Grady the ball when he's open. I agree, Lex. It's suspicious. It's not suspicious. It's a part of the learning curve for Grady. In some ways, we don't want to give him everything he wants. In some ways, it's really smart to use him as a misdirection. In some ways, what Kelly's doing is he's analyzing like a computer in his head. What's the highest probability shot that we're going to make? Is it Grady with the guy who's shadowing him and might close him out? Or is it a cut by Bruce Brown where he got it between his defender and the basket and he's got a layup? That's what it is. In some ways, Grady may be the misdirection to cause the openness for the cut. And that I don't want to say Kelly's freezing him out because he's definitely not. He's definitely not freezing out Grady, but there are opportunities for him to throw it to Grady that he's not totally taking. But I think it's partly because he's looking for the other option that I just described. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, not to be negative, but I think Kelly is assist hunting at this point in his career. Gary stopped Grady's streak. Yeah. I mean, listen, the 3-point streak that he had where he's making threes every game. Yeah, he had a no for recently. Yeah, it is what it is. Grady's going to have his ups and downs. But look, man, he's already like the other thing that's really crazy is Grady's on a list of Raptors for rookie season. Like think about how much he's played this year. He was not involved in games for a long time. He was in G League, and he really just started showing up in the last couple months to play at a high level. Well, he's rocketed up the charts for most three-pointers by a Raptor rookie. In fact, he's like in the top 4 or 5 of all-time rookies for making the most threes. And you got to figure out how much of the season he actually played, the percentage of the season he actually played. That's super impressive. Also, I want to give shine to Gary Trent Jr. that this week he went up on the all-time threes list for the Raptors, and he's currently like 6th all-time for threes, total threes made in a Raptors jersey. So kudos to you, Gary Trent, for being in the top 10 of threes made and climbing higher and higher over time. So, yeah, don't think Kelly's nefarious or he's freezing Grady out. In some ways, he's might be teaching him some of the lessons on the download that he needs to learn about not getting the ball all the time, exactly when he can get it. That's what I would think, Country Kong. All right, y'all, thanks for watching me. We're going off season mode for 2 days since there's a couple days off between the next game. So tomorrow, Friday Freak Out, very passionate one coming tomorrow. And then on Saturday, we're going to share the love club. the Raptors 905 crowd and the fans of the Raptors 905, you're getting the love from the Raptors Freak family on Saturday morning. So tune in for that. The preview for the Sixers game on Sunday. That's your schedule coming up the next 3 days. I'll see y'all tomorrow with my freak out. Yeah, I'm going to have some very, very important things to say tomorrow, and y'all are going to want to hear them. And you may not be aware of this issue I'm going to bring up tomorrow, and you will be very pissed off when you hear about what I'm going to say tomorrow. But I don't want to tell you now. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. So everybody have a great day. As Tom said earlier, Raptorize your day. And hey, listen, once again, the views that are expressed on this channel are purely and solely mine. If you don't agree with them, well, get over yourself. That's fine. We don't have to agree. I can very much not agree with you, whether it's about what I said about Israel earlier, whether it's about anything basketball or JFL or anything like that. Let's all be practicing the ability to not agree on everything and still have respect and appreciation for each other, even though that this world needs to work on that more and more. The divisiveness is stupid and out of control. And like I said, I'm not on a corporate channel. I'm solely and purely myself. And these views that are expressed on this channel are mine and mine only. And I can only be myself. That's all. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors. And tomorrow, preview for the Motor City Cruise versus the Raptors 905, their final game of the season. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Marquise Noel. Let's go. Get your health better. Everybody that's sitting on the sidelines for the Raptors. And next year, the dawn will rise again. And the Raptors will be rightfully winning once again next season when everybody's healthy. All right. I love y'all. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go. Let's go, Raptors.